Welcome back to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast. Today we're going to be doing a retrospective on the Dark type and every single Dark Pokemon. We're going to be exploring and explaining what the Dark type is, what it means, why it was introduced, and the real-world concepts that inspired some of our favorite Dark type Pokemon. My name is Dusty Go-Goat. Today I'm with the Lumiose Post, Soul Silver Art, and our special guest today, Loxton, from the YouTube channel Loxton and Noggin. This is going to be too much fun. Welcome, Loxton. So how do you guys feel about the Dark type? What do you think it is representative of? I think there's a lot of things that come up that people recycle on the internet that are true, but I think there's more under the hood. What I hear a lot is that is it called the etymology? Is that the right term? Yes. The meaning or the translation of what Dark type means in Japanese kind of translates to evil. That is what I hear all the time. So I'll open the floor to you guys.
There is that is a way you can translate it, but it's a little more nuanced than just evil. Because like in the West, we hear evil, we think like demons, devilish people, like the most wicked of wicked things. Villains are evil. Mm-hmm. But really, it just means like mean-spiritedness in the East. Most Eastern languages, like you're rude.
It's kind of a gray morality, right? Anything that it could be questionably immoral, or selfish. I mean, I think immoral is a really weighted word. Immoral has a lot of implications. I think just selfish is a good way to think about it. It's like whatever. It's like you're doing something, or you have the mentality to do something for your own personal gain, and it might be a little, roundabout. It might not be as honorable, but that's how I understand it. And I think it does get. The other part for me that it can get a little bit confusing about the Dark type is that what we're describing almost sounds like a personality rather than like an elemental energy source, right? A creation of Arceus, something fueled by mega energy, right? It's like, what is Dark type in that sense?
Yeah, that's interesting.
What are you guys thinking about?
It's like manifested malice.
Sure.
Yeah. Like you see it in a lot of like the few special Dark moves. There's like black and red aura clouds appearing all around them and everything.
The alpha Pokemon?
What? Right. That's so random.
Don't they have red glowing eyes?
What does that have to do with the Dark type?
The red aura. That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
All alphas are Dark type. You heard it here first. I think Dark type is. I can remember I think this kind of sums up the Dark type a little bit for me. But I remember as a kid, my dad, heard me and my sister talking in the back about Pokemon, and I mentioned something about the Dark type. And I remember my dad going. And at the time, I thought my dad was showing interest in my video game, but he was like, "Tell me about the Dark type." And I think that was my dad, which, kudos to him, because, like, I'm 7 years old, right? He's making sure I'm not playing something, like, crazy.
What is this Dark type?
Like that. And so I was
is this the devil?
Luckily, I said the right things, right? Like, I went like, like, its moves like bite and crunch. Like, when you bite someone really hard. My dad's like, oh, okay, cool. Probably wouldn't have been great if I'm like, well, it's when they summon dark energy to use Dark Pulse,
Yeah.
That's a good point. Dark Pulse is a move, which is just like what is the pulse? What is the darkness?
I was gonna say it before, like we're talking about like the definition of the word basically, or of the type. So it's like so much more than just the evil type or selfishness, or we talked about Darkrai before, like it's Dark type just because nightmares basically and
it's scary.
Yeah, so that's like one side of it, and then the other side is like you have a bad attitude. So
that's a good point. Fear,
very encompassing.
Isn't there, what is it? I think aren't psychic types weak to fears? Isn't that what that is? You get the bug types, ghost type, Dark type. That's lining up. Let's take a look at the type effectiveness. The communication between different types. what do you call this? Type effectiveness? Is that the right way to
I
say
think
it?
that's it. Type of
Yeah.
effectiveness.
Yeah. So dark type is super effective against the ghost type and the psychic type. I think I've always understood psychic type being weak to dark, like what we just said, where it's like a fear. I don't know if there's anything else on top of that. Honestly, the ghost type is
There
kind of
could
weird
be
as well.
there could be a little bit of, scary evil people are scary, but the thing that makes it more confusing is dark being immune to psychic.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I've always pictured it as being like someone who's truly like twisted or psychopathic on the inside of their head. Their brains and their minds function completely differently from
Yeah.
all other people, all other Pokemon. So like the psychic type trying to attack their mind doesn't work because like
They're
their mind is
tricky.
completely different. They're tricky, yeah.
Yeah.
And that also plays into the whole the being is it dark is super effective against ghost,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Right, because ghosts tend to prey upon people's guilt. Think about like various ghost stories, like, oh, you're guilty of all these things,
Sure.
like Christmas Carol,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but if you're that dark and selfish, you don't really feel guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're mean spirited inherently.
That's
these are just-
interesting.
These are all good things.
That's interesting.
You're just like, this ghost. I don't care. I don't care about this
Yeah, yeah.
ghost.
That's really interesting. It's like the defiance or the separation between normal consciousness, or maybe not consciousness, but normal reasoning. That could be what that is. And then we see that dark is weak, or I guess it's not very. I think the not very effective are kind of confusing. Dark type is weak to fighting bug and fairy. We reviewed it in the fairy episode a little bit. But I think we understood that if dark type really is the evil type, I feel like fairy in a lot of ways feels like the angel type, not light type, but the good type. So there's a obvious correlation there, an obvious relationship. The fighting type I think also makes sense. Fighting I think has been understood to be kind of like a hero type as well.
Hero, justice.
Yeah, justice.
Yeah.
That's a great way to say it. So
Righteous.
again, yeah,
Like you think about in the movies, you got the big hero and he's showing mercy to the guy he just beat up, and then the guy he just beat up
Sure.
stands up, tries to backstab the hero as he's walking away, but the hero's well trained and like, rescinds the mercy and
that's
beats you up more.
Nice.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. What about the bug type? That's kind of strange. That's a weird relationship.
Bugs are stupid. You can't trick them.
That's it. That's the only reason. There's really like, I don't know if you have anything, Loxton, but I have no answers for this. Like,
I was gonna say because butterflies eat demons for breakfast.
Is that a real thing? Is that
Maybe. Who's to say?
who's to say? We don't know.
I really have no idea. Bug.
Is
type.
anyone here a butterfly? No.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll never know.
There's a little bit like Common Rider stuff in Japan.
Mm.
They're all bug heroes.
True.
So like that's the same target demographic, little Japanese children watch Kamen Rider, they watch Pokemon. We just got the Loki, or is it Low Kicks?
Yeah, low kicks.
Yeah, I pronounce them low kicks. I don't know how it's pronounced though.
Like it's literally a Kamen Rider bug.
Yeah.
And so there's this association with bugs and heroes because of Kamen Rider in Japan.
Okay.
that makes so much sense.
But to justify it outside of that, there's no amount. You cannot swindle a fly out of its money. You can't scam an ant farm. You can plot against them, be mean and push the ant farm over, but the ants are just gonna go about their day.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
yeah, those make sense.
Both of those are great explanations. I don't know why I've never even thought about the Kamen Rider thing, because that's when you hear that you're like, oh, that's it. Like that's the reason.
I wonder. I mean, is the bug
only-
type partially the Kamen Rider type?
I mean,
I mean,
Like, what is the
Maybe.
percentage of bugs that
3
match?
Kamen Riders and they're all bug type.
Yeah, that's true.
Ledian, Low Kicks, and
People
Do you
say a
have an-
Selgor is. I don't know how accurate that is.
Scizor?
oh yeah,
Scizor kinda feels like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Honestly,
that's true.
we gotta
The
go
only
into
thing
more
I've
detail.
ever thought of was that bugs, most of them like come out at night. That's like the only connection I could ever really make.
Sure,
Like a lot of
that's
bugs
a good
are
point.
out
They,
at
yeah, they
night.
hide under dark places.
Yeah, or something like that. So
But
they're not
Is
like
that
Yeah,
starts
go for it.
getting into the tricky, like it's not
Is it
literal
dark?
darkness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
kind of is
Yeah.
when it comes to like Umbreon, right?
Right, because Umbreon's one of those Pokemon that really shouldn't be dark type in the
No.
like classical definition of it. And yet it was one of the very first dark types,
Yeah. What
You
type
know?
would you
Yeah.
make it though?
right?
Poison,
It's like
bro.
there's
Poison could
poison
work.
would make more sense. It can't learn any poison type moves, and yet its Dex entries talk about how poisonous it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the beta of Gold and Silver. It was poison type.
Mhm.
That's why it used
Ah.
to be. Mm-hmm.
Because used to, it was
poison type.
Espeon. There was a grass evolution
Yeah.
coded into the game too. It
Yep.
was like
I mean,
a little
I guess it
Pain
does
like
tie.
early ones.
I guess it does tie with nighttime and fear, right? Because if you look at Darkrai, that's another
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
darkness, literal darkness Pokemon. So
Most
that
shady
is what it
mafia
could be.
deals and like back alley beating people up and stuff happens at night also.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
So there is that connection either way.
Yeah.
I once
Yeah.
read that if someone breaks into your home during the day, they're trying to rob you. They're coming at a time where they think you're not there. But if they come at night, it's oftentimes a violent crime, like against a person, like
That makes sense.
murder.
This is
So I
Well,
mean, yeah, that is
Umbreon
kind of
is
just a way to
capable of
think of
that.
it. Yeah, Umbreon is capable of murder.
I wonder how many
Mhm.
words we're gonna have to censor in this video. I didn't really think about it.
Do we have to censor that on YouTube?
Is
I mean,
murder?
that's a
Does murder need
it's
to
a
be
bad
censored?
one.
I mean, we're not saying we're gonna do it. We're just mentioning that it is.
I mean,
a thing.
Loxton has said it before in his videos.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Any advice? Do you think?
As long as the context remains like talking about true crime stuff.
Yeah.
I
Right.
think-
Yeah, that's
I think
true. True
that's a
crime's
carved out
a
exception.
thing. Yeah.
I kind of wish Umbreon had a little bit more something else in its design other than just the moon. Because in a lot of ways, if it's just the moon, that sounds like a fairy type. Truthfully,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Moonlight's
wonder.
literally a fairy move.
Yeah. I wonder how many other Pokemon are like a little bit related to darkness in the dark type kind of thing. Is it just Umbreon? I'm
Like
blanking.
I mean,
Literal
we'll
darkness.
get into it once we get
Yeah,
into the
literal
Pokemon.
darkness.
We will get into
Yeah.
it. There's a lot of the moves as well for the dark type. Kind of
Like Batty Bad.
yeah, patty bad.
That's
Truly wicked.
That
Batty
move
Bad.
is too scary to use.
we should just like finish right now. That's it. Like Batty Bad explains
Bad.
the dark type
Yeah.
perfectly.
Like bite, beat up. These are all things that are just like I guess unfair. Or
Wait, is
Fighting-
Black Hole Eclipse an actual move?
I think it's
Have
a
I
Z-
It's
ever
a Z
s-
move,
It's a Z
right?
move.
Okay. I was about to say I've never seen that before.
ceaseless edge, comeuppance. Are you kidding me? See, that sounds like a fighting type move. It's like you're gonna get your
Well,
comeuppance.
so does beat up. It's because it's like that's based in revenge, right?
Yeah.
But then the interesting thing is revenge is a fighting move.
Sure, it is. Yeah.
One's just revenge, and the other one is mean revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You're right, because revenge is like, theoretically, I guess like morally, revenge isn't actually good to do either. I guess I'm assuming revenge is violence. Revenge really could just be like, or is revenge supposed to be violent? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be.
embargo. That's like, I guess. See, that sounds lawful to me. An embargo sounds lawful.
Isn't that
It's
the move
often-
that prevents you from using a held item?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means like,
It's often kind of seen as like a lesser like war tactic because that's the thing people do in war is an embargo.
Yeah.
Where they basically make it where you can't trade goods, so nothing can come in or nothing can come out, so it can like starve a country.
Yeah.
You know.
Mhm.
fake tears is a great example, right? That's deception.
one.
False surrender is deception. Yeah. That little Azurill is gonna grow up to do some horrible, heinous crimes. I'm assuming Azurill can learn fake tears. Faint
Sounds like
attack.
can if not close enough.
Yeah. Fiery Wrath is interesting. You're right. Moltres is gonna be in this discussion. The Galarian
that's
Moltres. That'll be
Is that
interesting.
a special move? Like its only move? Like not only. You know what I mean? Exclusive.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if other Pokemon learn it other than that.
A fire like
no
aura
other
to
Pokemon
attack.
learns it. It's just Galarian Moltres.
Yeah. I mean, there's always gonna be
Articuno
exceptions.
got it too.
Yeah. you're right.
Actually, that brings up a good. I'm thinking about like the villains in like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, how they have that like dark aura around them, and it's all evil and flame like, and you got the the
Yeah.
katakana symbols menacing, all flashing all around him. It's just like the fiery wrath aura.
It reminds me of like
Yeah.
someone who holds a grudge, right? It's like negative energy. When you hold on to it, it really only like burns yourself, right? However, I guess in this scenario, in a fantasy monster catching game, you know, that dark energy can actually, you can use it to hurt other people as well.
But it's like manifesting.
I mean, that's the
basically.
case
Yeah.
in the real world too. Evil people tend to hurt other people.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Foul
Well, you can
play. I'm just
see
gonna
it
start
here.
reading these off. Foul play, hone claws,
You're sharpening your knives.
yeah, kinda like
That makes
cheating.
sense.
Hyperspace Fury.
jaw lock. That's
Dreadnaught's move.
yeah, I didn't know it was dark type.
Another Pokemon got it now, but I don't remember who.
Cowtoe cleave. I don't know any of these. Knockoff.
King
Lash
Gambit's
out.
move.
Malicious moonsault. Here's
Lumi is our resident
competitive battler.
yeah, competitive person, so he knows like who these moves belong to mostly.
Yeah. So it makes sense. All of these moves are really just giving the Pokemon an advantage against the opponent, which obviously in a competitive sense, like that's the whole point. You want to get you want to get some sort of advantage, but all of these things seem to be like using outside sources or doing something that might be a little immoral. There's a lot of these.
My
but
favorite is Fling. I like the idea of a Pokemon just like holding a rocky helmet and just
Yeah,
chucking it out, you know, like
Yeah.
That was a cheap shot.
right?
Yeah. It also, you have to take into account the Japanese as well. Like if any of them sound kind of weird, it might be just because in Japanese it makes sense.
That's
but
true.
In English,
Yeah,
it might
that's
not.
true. Yeah, like Night Slash in Japanese is like it roughly translates to like crossroad killing, isn't that right?
Sure.
Like, and that was a
Yeah.
big deal.
Mhm.
Was
I've heard
like
that.
it's got killing in the name, and so that was like a big thing. People always speculated that's why Ash's Greninja never got it, but then his Farfetch did.
Yeah. I do want to
Interesting.
before we move on to the Pokemon, I do want to point out that the Dark type, you know, obviously was introduced in Generation 2 kind of as a count. I want to say it was officially introduced as a counter to the Psychic type and maybe also the Ghost type. But I also feel like Dark type and Steel type were probably conceptualized like during Generation 1 at some point, right? They just hadn't actually brought it into reality. You think it was an afterthought?
I do think it was after, just because like what we were talking about with Umbreon, even it was a poison type for in the beta. So like I think maybe they threw that in a bit later, the whole idea.
Sure.
Maybe they had the idea, you know, the concept.
Yeah, I think
But-
it was balanced because Psychic types were really strong, Ghost types were really strong and only weak to themselves, and then Steel, you could argue the same thing because while it doesn't beat Dragon, it does resist it.
Yeah. You know, that's a good point because I do think if Dark type was conceptualized in Gen 1, I mean, obviously it didn't exist in Gen 1, but if the developers were thinking about it, I don't know. I feel like Mewtwo is a great candidate for a Dark type, right? With the Berserk gene item, right? That was present in Gen 2. I feel like there's a lot of Pokemon in Gen 1 that just basically just have angry Gen 1 eyes and should have the Dark type for that reason alone, honestly. So many Pokemon are depicted as just having like a temper. Beedrill, Fearow. So yeah, I guess that's something we should look into to see if that's actually when the Dark type was actually thought of. There might be some beta information on that. I'm not sure. If you're enjoying this episode, please consider supporting Hidden Power on Patreon or YouTube channel members. Right now, we have 4 tiers, and the lowest membership starts at just $5 a month. Supporters get access to our secret Discord server and help control the direction of the podcast. Supporters also get access to our archive of bonus episodes.
Okay, so our Discord honestly is popping. We have other creators in there too, which is kind of fun. It ain't just the 3 of us. We're discussing leaks when they drop. We talk about news. We'll be talking about how Soul Silver Art has, just garbage takes.
It's so much
a
fun.
place for us to connect.
I'm in there every day. Also, we have revamped our merch store. So proud of every product that is in this store now. We have stickers, t-shirts, mugs, ball caps, right? The dad caps. These ball caps are embroidered. Look at this. It's literally an embroidered.
So clean.
You cannot get
Very
anything
clean.
more high quality than that.
I just got news. Do y'all hear that? Bulbasaur says that he even has his own merch.
I'll talk for him. It's beautiful. Very cool designs. You guys should
Very
check it out.
Japanese style.
Even the front of the shirt has a unique logo.
I'm getting one for sure.
If you're invested in this show,
invest in the show. Thank you so much for watching, and now back to the video.
But let's move on to the pure dark type Pokemon. So first up, we got Alolan Meowth and Alolan Persian. These are obviously not the first dark type Pokemon. I think Umbreon was the first dark type Pokemon. But Meowth and Persian ended up getting these regional forms. So why do we think Alolan Meowth and Alolan Persian were dark type?
Very selfish, very self-centered
Yeah.
cats that are way too pampered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the rich are evil.
Yeah.
Is that a
Eat the
thing?
that's what
rich.
it is.
Are they like
Maybe.
poor
Really
alley
is.
cats?
No,
Or you're saying they are rich because of okay.
Yeah,
They're
they're rich
owners.
because they're owned by rich people.
Their owners are rich.
Yeah.
Eat the rich.
Though Alolan Persian's head, like, really,
I don't understand.
does that express
It's like a
like,
Persian, or like a real Persian cat. Like
Yeah.
the very
Yeah.
flat face.
yeah, that's probably what they went for.
Inbred. Very inbred.
Inbred, yeah,
Yeah.
true.
More words I might need to censor. I don't know.
More words. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, honestly, I think these Pokemon are kind of duds, truthfully. I mean, I get it, but if that's the case, Meowth base form should be dark type. I do feel like a lot of the Kanto regional forms that we got the dark type, and I feel like in a lot of ways that was Game Freak trying to almost retroactively correct like what Pokemon didn't get the dark type originally.
See, I feel like they would have given it to them though in Gen 2 because they gave Magnemite the steel type.
Yeah, but like 15, 20 years later, 20 years later, you're thinking back, you're like, oh, maybe we should have done more. I think also it was probably in preparation for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. There were no dark type Pokemon.
That's interesting.
But these are available now. I don't know. So that's interesting. Meowth and Persian. Umbreon, like we said, originally was supposed to be it's got a lot of poison attributes, a lot of toxic attributes, but it evolves at night. So there's the relationship to fear, darkness, monsters come out at night. A lot of bad things happen at night. That's kind of the idea there. I still feel like it probably could be like, this could have been the fairy type Pokemon, honestly. The fairy type evolution. I don't know.
I don't know, but maybe.
With some design tweaks.
Yeah, with some design tweaks. Like, I almost wish there was something else to it other than just the moon and the rings.
Are you not an Umbreon fan?
No, I
Or is
love
this-
Umbreon, but I'm like, if
Okay.
it's going to be a dark type, I don't know. It's like, does it really represent the dark type as an evolution?
I think so.
Yeah.
But I'm also falling prey to just because it's like got that coloration.
Sure.
That
I mean,
should be a dark type.
it's an
It
iconic
does
Pokemon.
say like it's Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby Dex Entry says that it hides silently in darkness and waits for its foes to make a move. So like, it's like kind of hiding, and it also says that it goes for the throat of its prey.
Okay.
So, it's kind of colder in terms of how it fights.
Yeah. No,
Nice,
that
they
makes
gave it
sense.
some good backstory then. Some good lore
Yeah.
in there.
I kind of wish we were doing this by generation rather than monotype and then dual type. But honestly, should we try to do that? That makes more sense to me.
Doesn't matter to
Up
me.
to you.
Follow your dreams.
Yeah. We don't have the proper
Your
layout for it.
dreams. Yeah, just stick with it. Whatever.
Yeah. So
Poochyena was like just a little guy.
just a little
I don't
hyena,
know.
just a little grumpy hyena. But hyenas
are
are
horrible, man.
they-
They're evil.
they're pack animals, right? But
Their
they're not-
cackling is so spooky.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
you've
yeah.
seen those nature documentaries, like you got
Yes.
lions at night eating a gazelle, and then you hear distant cackling of hyenas. The lions are like, "Oh guys, oh gosh, we gotta get out of here." And then they arrive.
No, yeah. It's so real. My wife's a big animal fan, and she said that like she watched like some guy who did like safaris in Africa, and he said the number one thing you want to hear at night is not like the growl of a lion, it's the laughing of a hyena. Because he's like, there's always more than one. And like the thing is too, whereas most animals like tigers and stuff, these apex predators go for like the throat, go to like kill you quick and then eat you. Hyenas just kind of eat, so they don't really care if you're alive or not. They're just
Jeez.
gonna take
It's
a
like a
bite.
bear.
So so like the way that they do things is just horrible, right?
Well, then that makes sense with Poochyena and Mightyena.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
These are pretty good
Is Poochyena
Pokemon.
really a hyena though?
It's a little pooch.
It's a baby hyena.
It's a pooch.
Yeah,
Hyena.
I guess.
They're like weird mix of hyena and wolf,
Sure.
which is a weird combination because a fun fact is hyenas are more closely related to cats than to dogs.
Yeah.
Wow.
Aren't,
I did not know
aren't bears actually are bears are more closely related to dogs? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I was thinking they
think.
were maybe similar, but
Yeah.
well, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I think these are good. I feel like in Generation 3 they really went into it with the dark type. They started actually fleshing out what it means to be a dark type. There were a couple like random things that they added in Gen 2. I feel like just stuff on the nose, just like you got a crow, you got the evolution, and then what? And then you have just like the
Oh,
skull
what?
dog.
No, you can't say that. Like Murkrow
Yeah.
has a lot of stuff to back it up. It's not just a crow.
It's
That's
a witch
at night.
crow.
But I will say that the nighttime theme is kind of with the crow a little bit. I
Yeah,
guess.
that's
with
true. That's a
Murkrow.
good point.
Not that crows are out at night,
Yeah.
really. Though.
And are they? I don't really. No, I only see them during the day.
I see him during the day, but you wouldn't see it at night.
Or
'Cause,
crow.
they're-
I wonder if it's more like a
black.
raven. I wonder if
It is,
Murkrow
but
is more
still.
of an inspiration from
No,
from a raven.
Corviknight's a raven. Murkrow's a crow.
Yeah, but for the dark type, at least my understanding from Game of Thrones is that ravens mean
From
something
Game of
horrible
Thrones,
is gonna
bro.
happen.
Well, then never
I-
mind.
From-
You
from
backed
Game of
it up
Thrones,
with
that's
essentially
where-
science.
That's where it all comes from.
So Absol is honestly a really fun one. A really fun monotype where it has this reputation of being a horrible creature that brings disaster. When in reality, it's actually, I guess it warns of disaster, but it's not really something that is causing the disaster. And that's kind of in opposition with what the dark type even is. So like if that is this Pokemon kind of, flipping the type on its head, like maybe Absol should have a different typing.
That is one of the mon that I frequently say don't have the best reason for being the type that it is, but it also starts getting into the whole deep like creation of Pokemon theory that like Pokemon are what they are because of how people see them
Yeah.
kind of thing, which just gets into a whole chunk of philosophy.
Yeah.
Things like Kling came about during the Industrial Revolution because people were working with gears all the time.
Yeah.
And so a gear Pokemon manifested itself because that's what people sort of subconsciously wanted.
Yeah.
So like here's Absol trying to warn people get the wrong impression of it, and then that impression re-manifests itself into what Absol is.
Interesting.
In
See,
a way, that could be the dark type. Like why it has the dark type, right? Is because it does have this connection
Yeah.
to natural disasters where it knows that they're coming. So like it
sure.
it,
It's like
it
a
is
symbiotic,
connected to these evil things, even if it's not causing them.
but it's also absorbing the dark thoughts, the negative thoughts from people. And maybe it is a little bit like, PO'd. Like it's a little like, resentful of society.
Of being
Yeah, it did
miscategorized.
have to
Right?
like flee into like
It's an
like,
outcast.
It has to live isolated, and so then it has like if we're saying negative emotions, this isn't so much like malice and evil, but it does have negative emotions of like loneliness and also I imagine there's a lot of stress to knowing, hey, tomorrow a volcano's gonna erupt and lava's gonna go all over that village, and
Yeah.
having to warn them about it.
That is really
Yeah.
interesting. I wonder, like, Lumi, do you want to just pull up its dex entry, or just in general, just
Yeah.
have those ready?
I
while we
have
go
'em.
through this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have them. I mean, it just talks really about how it has different like it's said by people to be a bringer of doom, but it actually
It senses impending natural disaster.
right. See, that's what I'm saying. If it senses it, so it is connected.
It's
to
locked
these
in.
natural
Yeah.
disasters.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that could be where it's coming from.
Only thing I'm wondering, Loxton, I don't know if you've ever done like any kind of deep dive on Absol, but its design specifically is like just weird and out there and like so random that it makes me feel like it's based off of some kind of mythical creature that does this same kind of thing, just by what it looks like. I don't know if you have anything on it, but
It's not a yokai. It's a Chinese spirit that like embodies yin yang,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that makes sense with its like.
but like
going up
it
and down.
specifically has something to do with like evil spirits, and like it's connected. It is that. It's like just replace evil spirits with natural disasters, and that's the
Sure.
original thing it's based on.
I'm thinking of
Is
that
it good
giant.
in that lore? Like, is the thing it's based on also like a good thing, like Absol is, or is it?
I think so.
It's almost like a connection between, like I guess like the spirit world. I'm thinking of Avatar: The Last Airbender. That like giant creature that is destroying
I know that now.
the city. Oh yeah, you finally watched it?
Yeah, I did. I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Yeah. So like
I'm proud.
yeah. Anyways, we don't need to go too deep into this, but yeah. I think Absol is.
It is one of the most interesting ones, I'd have to say, for Dark type.
Yeah, I could see them revisiting this at some point. It did get a mega, so we're gonna
Yeah.
be seeing that in Legend of ZA. That's fun.
Maybe.
Baize. I
Yeah, actually,
found it. The creature is called Baize,
buys
and it looks like
cool.
Absol with a human face.
okay.
Huh.
That makes so much
That's
sense.
gross. I'm glad they made it an Absol face, honestly.
No, but honestly though, like that's one of my things about Absol is its face looks kind of like humanoid.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a
Sure.
human face, so that makes sense why it's like that.
I mean, so
100%. I knew there had to be something.
it also has this mega evolution where it grows these like fluffy wings. Again, this is just
DeviantArt.
yeah, DeviantArt. So this is like, I mean, it's not an angel. It's not the fairy type. It looks like it could be the fairy type. It's an angel of death, maybe.
Angel of.
That's what it's
like,
Fallen
conveying to
angels
me.
are a thing, right? Like a demon is just a fallen angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the yin and yang on its face way more
Mm-hmm.
here. But if this is just an extension of what it really is, like, I don't know. Do you see anything? I don't know. Are
I
you
think
guys
that's-
thinking any more.
I
about
think
this?
the angelic part about it is really what it's leaning into the
Yeah.
most,
Okay.
being like a messenger. Because angels, like the literal translation is like messengers, something
Sure.
like that. So it's a messenger of doom, basically.
Right, and that's how they're
Like
like
it's
always
supposed to be.
depicted in like at least the Bible. It's like they're messengers of
Yeah.
God, you know. So
Okay.
Yeah. But are you trying to go through every single one, Dusty? Because
Yeah.
we're gonna be here all night.
I mean,
You think?
that's what we've been doing for every other one.
All right. Well,
We can go a little quicker.
there
I'm
you go.
I'm also
You
kind
have
of
to go
waiting for you
so
guys
deep
to.
into detail.
I'm also waiting for
on
you guys to
every
like
single
jump in
one.
and give additional context if you know it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are.
Okay,
but-
okay, all right. So Darkrai's next. Darkrai is, from what I understand, the epitome of a nightmare. It's just shadowy creature. It's the monster in your room, under your bed.
Yeah.
It even has
that's
like those
about it.
spider legs, right?
Oh, the creepy legs.
oh,
are
it's
cool.
not even spider
yeah.
legs. It's just these really long, like two legs, like a human.
Okay.
You know, it's weird looking.
Like slender man
Yeah.
legs or whatever. I don't even know what that is. I just hear people talk about it.
Yeah. This one's pretty on the nose. And then Purloin in Lipard.
Kinda random.
I like these Pokemon, honestly. I do like them a
I do
lot.
too. They
Kinda
look great
random
new
feeling.
Pokemons now.
And I'm
They're
trying to.
thieving,
What is it?
thieving femme fatales.
Sure.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Actually, if you look up Doronjo from Yatterman, who it's a classic anime that like directly inspired Team Rocket. Doronjo's headwear is like exactly Purloin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or-
yeah.
Yeah.
I see it.
Don't look any further than that, though.
Yeah.
This is a Google, man.
I know it even has like the little. I mean, actually, when I see this, I think of Bass from Mega Man.
Yeah, it kind of does look like that a little bit.
So cool, dude. Anyways,
He's a cool
that's
design.
off topic. Yeah, this is a good Pokemon. Do you think there's anything addition to this? It's just like it's a sneaky cat. It's not really a black cat,
Its
but
tail is a thieves' crook.
sure. Yeah,
That's a thing.
that's a good point. It also is a little bit deceptive with, at least as a player, you see it being all cute sitting down, but then it actually it can stand up. Probably freeing
Pretty
up
sure
two
it's in
hands
its
to
next
steal
entry
things.
that's on purpose.
It is on purpose.
It does sit down like to look all cute and stuff, but
That's
it
nice.
actually stands up.
All right, so that lines up.
I miss back when it was depicted as sitting down.
I know.
Yes.
That's actually
I got
how
really
I like
freaked out in X and Y when they stood it up. I was like, ooh.
it. Yeah.
Also, why would it be standing if it's trying to like hide that it can
Right.
stand?
It's
Yeah.
trying to deceive me. It should be sitting down.
Not deceptive anymore.
Zoroa and Zoroark are, I guess it's again deception. It's like pretending to be something else. I've gotten hit by that so many times. My friend always uses a Zoroark, and then it ends up using flamethrower, and I'm like, okay, this is not what I think it is, or whatever it is. Actually, it would be the. Anyways, I got the story mixed up, but yeah, Zora is a lot of
Or
fun.
can learn flamethrower. You were right.
Can I learn flamethrower? Okay,
Yeah.
that didn't even sound right when I said it.
No, yeah, that was like a really big Shady Penguin clip back in the day. Was he was battling someone, and he used an Azumarill, and the Azumarill was using flamethrower, and like Shady did not figure out that it was a Zoroark, and he was
Crazy.
like, "It's a special Azumarill." It
Wild
was
one.
fun.
Dude, that's
Yeah,
funny.
they're the epitome of the dark type. They're like the mascot, basically, in a
Yeah.
way.
I'm surprised they're not more popular. I know you like them, Soul, but
I absolutely love them.
yeah. And then Nickit and Thievul are, again, just you got the thieves. And I love the tail. The tail is so perfect with how it covers up the tracks. I really think Nickit's great.
Very smart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything
It's
more
Guy
than
Fox.
that. Yeah, it's a fox.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
No, Guy Fawkes.
Guy
Yeah.
Fox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's in Galar,
True.
UK terrorist man.
And then we
Even.
got Mastiff and Mabostiff, which Mafia, right? Mob Boss? Mob Boss and the dogs. There's nothing more than that. They bite, they're dogs.
Yeah. I mean, they're.
Is it just
I don't know
really
if
just on
you've
the
seen
nose?
yeah, I don't know if you've seen the art of Mabostiff, like when
Sure.
it's like attacking, but it looks
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see
I
this.
don't know if there's much else.
No, that's
You're
nothing
gonna try to
else.
find it.
Yeah, I thought maybe
It's
the
a
picture would be
TCG
here.
card.
Yeah, it's weird they don't have like official art, because isn't that like even technically classified as like two forms or something?
I don't think so.
I
don't think so.
swear I saw someone once
No,
say that.
Lumi, that was like people were like it's leaking, or when it was leaking.
Oh, it
they
was
were
like a
thinking
fake
that-
leak.
Yeah, it was terrible. I was like, there's no two forms of this.
It just opened its mouth. That's what
Yeah,
that is. So next is Alolan Rattata and Alolan Raticate. These are Pokemon that are primarily the Dark type, which in some instances I think usually affects how the Pokemon is designed. Honestly, some of my favorite Dark type Pokemon are going to be secondary Dark type Pokemon that we'll get to in a little bit. But the first Pokemon is Alolan Rattata and Alolan Raticate. This is Dark and Normal type. And again, I feel like the base Rattata and Raticate should either be Dark type or maybe I think Poison type could make sense for them as well. But these are just again thieves. There's a lot of thieves. They're just stealing food, cooking food, hoarding food. That's what I understand these Pokemon to be.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I love Alolan Rattata's little mustache thing
Yes.
because it doubles as the Japanese thief mask.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah. Where you like kind of
Nice.
you tie it. That's nice.
yeah. I like Rattata. Not so much a fan of the Raticate, but
yeah. He
They
turns
like
into
also
a
sad.
fairy.
supposed to be like
yeah,
gangsters or like a mob or something, because like they were the counterparts to Gumshoes in that sense.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Galarian Moltres is next with Dark. It's Dark and Flying type. Still don't really understand why it's not a Fire type. It's got fire all over its body. I guess it's Dark Aura. It's that Dark Aura.
Dark aura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like what we were talking about. It
missing.
just manifested it.
Yeah. But I don't know.
Fully.
Yeah. Can you? I can't really think of anything else. Lumi, do you have its Dex entry up? Is there any?
Yeah, I mean,
information there?
of course, there's not as much on this because there's only 2 dexes that Galarian Moltres is in. But it says that this Pokemon's Sinister Flame-like aura will consume the spirit of any creature it hits. Victims become burned-out shadows of themselves.
Jeez.
And then it also says the Sinister aura that blazes like molten fire around this Pokemon is what inspired the name Moltres. So that's the thing, is it's not flames, it's an aura. Which
Yeah.
is really cool, like, that you can see its aura.
Yeah, that is.
And
honestly
becoming
cool.
like a burnt out version of yourself is kind of almost like PTSD also.
Wow.
You know, if you survive some extreme violence that's put against you, like that's going to affect you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You're going to become burnt out. Like you need therapy at that point.
Yeah.
They
They actually
It's
did
very
that
dark.
with the anime too. Was like the issue that they had with catching the Galarian Moltres was that it was like it was giving out this horrible aura that like every time they got near it, they just felt like weak and depressed.
Wow.
Never
That's
went
interesting
into
that
it.
they would pay attention to that. That's pretty cool.
I love that Pokemon. I love it so much.
Yeah,
So
this is
cool.
honestly, we should have prefaced. This is Soul's favorite type, I would think. No, I guess he likes
No.
bug type, bug and
No,
dragon.
my
it's
favorite
bug
type.
then dragon for him.
But
But I do like
You-
edgy designs,
yeah.
so this is like
you like
right
the
up
edgy
my
designs.
alley. A lot of them.
I don't think it's on this list. Yeah, it's not that type. I was thinking Necrozma probably could be a dark type. If it's like the absence of light. I know that's
So that's again going to the
It's not-
other.
sure.
Not literal darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it kind of is.
So far, we've only had Umbreon really to
Yeah.
get into any kind
You
of
could make
darkness.
the case of Necrozma in the sense that like it takes over other Pokemon. Like
Sure,
it
it's
takes
like a
over
parasite.
Solgaleo and Lunala.
That's
Even
true.
then, most parasites have been portrayed as poison.
Yeah.
so I
Bug.
don't know.
Valid. So Murkrow here, it's got the witch's broomtail. Yeah, it's the witch hat. It really is such a cute design. I like Murkrow a lot. But like a witch,
love
I mean, we
Murkrow.
talked about this in our fairy episode. Witches are usually depicted as a fairy type. So why is it not a fairy type? Because it's a black crow.
There can be evil witches too.
Sure, that's true. Evil witches. That's a good point.
Eating
good
children.
Yeah. Yes. There's tons of those.
And a crow.
stories.
I mean, yeah.
And a crow.
Honestly, like to me, I feel like it wasn't until like Harry Potter that witch started being used in like a good term. Like I felt like every time I heard witch,
Yeah,
I thought like villainous, you know,
that's a good point.
not like a
The
female
Wicked Witch
wizard.
of the West.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's true.
Focus, pocus.
That's a good
Hisuian?
point. That's a good point. And then
Hisuian
obviously as it
Quillfish, though?
evolves. Oh, what is it?
Oh, you know. I was just looking at Hisuian Quillfish already.
Yeah, it's Hisuian Quillfish is dark poison type. I like that it's not a water type. It's a fish. It's not a water type. That's always got to be
I
appreciated.
like when they do that.
But what
This
like,
has to have something to do with its dex entry or something, though.
Yeah.
Because it's just random dark to me.
I mean, well, you know, one thing to point out is that they are like really aggressive in game, right?
Yeah.
Like they like when they see you,
True.
like you can see on its face
Yeah.
that it looks mad, but it does say that that fishermen hate it because like it'll spray poison from its spines and get the poison everywhere. So that's, you know, one thing.
it kind of reminds me of what is it called? Like a water mine.
Well, yeah, it always has, really.
Yeah.
Quillfish, though.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. So to me, I mean, and that's not really deception, but
yeah, that's why it gets explosion.
But it's sneaky.
it's sneaky. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good way to put it.
Mhm.
I almost think that it's because just like there's some kind of relation a bit with dark and poison.
Yeah.
I don't know, with dark and poison types, that poison types can be a little on the dark side of things.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Poison
mean,
is
if you-
inherently like a sneaky way of killing someone.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
know?
And that could be like your connection back with Umbreon is that, you know, we talked about how it's got the poison attributes.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna try to justify Umbreon's dark type the whole time.
Yeah.
Is that really what
It has
it
a
is?
pointy tail.
Yeah.
Sneasel is dark and ice type.
yokai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a great
That
Pokemon.
yokai.
I look at it and
I
I'm
like
like,
Hisuian better.
the Hisuian
Yes.
one is good. It really is. I'll take
Me
both
too,
of
but-
them without their
Should it-
evolutions.
Should it have
Yes.
kept its ice type though? That's the
Yeah,
real
that is
question.
cool. Ice poison. Yeah. So it's just a yokai, and it's I don't know. It's a. I feel like it's sneaky.
The yokai it's based on is like it hides itself in the wind
Okay.
and it just slashes you repeatedly,
Oh wow.
which I think is probably why it's dark type, because like there's no reason to slash someone repeatedly
Yeah.
just to mess with them, you know?
Right.
It's like
That's a prank gone too far.
yeah.
Yeah.
The more you know. I feel like that's pretty bad. It's like hitting someone when they're already down. Houndour and Houndoom were some of the first dark type Pokemon.
Hellhounds.
Yeah. as
Yeah,
simple as that.
Hellhounds.
You see the bones. Yeah. There's really not much else to it. I feel like they
I
really
mean, there's
are
probably
pro-
a lot. There's a lot to all of them. to be
Houndoom
honest.
literally has a devil tail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good thing you didn't show your dad that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, Dad,
I
this
know.
is the dark type.
He looks up dark type bite. And
I'm
then it
just
shows
glad
up
I never
Houndour's
brought up not a dark type,
Dex
and that's
entry.
another one that could be a dark type. But I'm just glad I never brought up Giratina. Like,
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
for
like
real.
it's got the Satan Pokemon.
You know, it's the Antichrist.
yeah.
Is that good, Dad? You
Well,
like
wait
that?
till I show him Vivian, because
Yeah.
that's Pokedex number 666.
Galarian, Zigzagoon, and Lanoon. I want to say they're dark type, other than the the face paint and the fact that they're like a rock band, like a counterculture rock band. It's because I would think maybe it's like the style of attack, like Obstagoon. That makes sense as a dark type, right? Because it's like, again, it's some sort of
Blocking.
yeah, it's a form of
It's a
combat.
big protest kind of
Yeah.
blocker.
But regular Zigzagoon zigzags more to flee. Maybe it's dark type because it's like on the offensive. Do we have any information from its Dex entry, Lumi?
Well, I did pull up, because it's based off of more so Obstagoon. Its evolution is based off of Kiss, the band.
Yeah.
And the kind of interesting thing there is that Kiss is a like punk rock band, and that was back in the day, that was like seen as the devil's music,
Sure.
right? Like, and like the fact that they wore all these dark colors and painted their faces and stuff, like they often were kind of controversial when they first started. You'd have pastors being like, it's Satan, so.
It's funny, like when I think of punk music, I'm not thinking of Kiss. To me, the idea of Kiss is really more like glamorous, right? When I think, but I do like the idea of like grunge rock or punk rock, where it actually is, kids. It's young people rebelling, which is that does feel like dark type to me.
Yeah.
But it says in its Dex entry that it since it's a Zigzagoon, it zigzags.
Mm-hmm.
But if it sees someone, it will purposefully run into them.
Oh wow, okay.
So he's just a little turd,
Just a little punk.
Yeah. A little punk, yeah.
Here's up next is one of my favorites. Sableye is a dark and ghost type Pokemon. I don't really think does it actually steal the gems? I guess it's a
It eats
treasure
Carbink.
robber. What is it?
It eats Carbink, I'm pretty sure.
That's true, yeah. But and this is also based off of I think it's not even a yokai, it's like an American
It's the
cryptid, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was like a little alien, the Hopkinsville Goblin.
Yes. Yeah.
It was like an alien that crash landed and then just went around stealing things, I think.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's funny every time I hear like about a cryptid, I'm like, that's just like some random guy who just decided to like disrupt the town, and they're like
It's a Scooby-Doo villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But-
do think it's so funny that like they took like a specific alien case.
Yeah.
And
It has nothing to do with
like,
Hoenn.
back in Gen 3, yeah, like in Hoenn, they're just like, well, Hopkinsville, let's grab the little guy from there,
But yeah,
Um,
I mean, I guess I do assume that Sableye does steal things, the
Yeah,
gemstones, the
It
treasures.
says it steals the gemstones from Carbink, and it
Okay.
also says that Carbink is its favorite food, and that
Okay.
it and Gabite kind of compete for Carbink.
Okay.
It's also just kind of mischievous in general, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it's a
It gets
goblin.
prankster as an ability.
It's a goblin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. Honchkrow is an extension of Murkrow, but it obviously has the mob boss element to it, which
Yeah, I mean,
which honestly is weird.
swapped.
I kind of wish it continued the witch aesthetic.
Yeah, that is. I guess I've never even really thought about that.
They're
but you're
just, like,
right.
so
Just goes
unrelated.
From a witch to a mob boss.
You got like European myth, and then
They
you
could have
got-
at least done like male only evolves into Honchkrow, give it a female evolution that carries the witch aesthetic.
That'd be kind of awesome, to be honest. I
Yeah.
love that.
No, I'd say make it it should be a wizard, and then a witch or something. I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
Like the mob
Well, it
boss
looks
seems
like
so
a wizard.
random.
I
do
mean,
li-
honestly, yeah, the mob boss shouldn't be there, but I just like Honchkrow's design, and I love the way he faints in Battle Revolutions.
Yeah, that's true. That's a classic. Weaviles is just an extension, I'm pretty sure, of Sneasel.
I mean, didn't you do a video on Weavile? Was it?
Yeah,
you? Yes.
I don't think I went super into why it's dark type because it's just kind of is a follow up of Sneasel. It's more, it just leans more into the yokai it's based on.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more or less the same. Scraggy and Scrafty's kind of fun. These are, I feel like they're supposed to be like just like street kids.
Yeah, they're gangsters.
Little hoodlums,
Yeah, hoodlums. I mean, you know,
Makes
we were all
sense.
young.
tagging walls.
We all had saggy pants growing up. I just
That
think
one has a mohawk.
yeah, the mohawk's sick. But yeah, so this is actually going back to the beginning of the conversation. They're dark and fighting types, so you kind of have this. I mean, I don't know what kind of. I guess the fighting is. It's weird.
Fighting is
Street
not
fights.
righteous in this.
It's not,
case, I don't
no.
think.
But
No.
but if it is fighting immorally or whatever, right? Wouldn't that just be represented by the dark type? Why does it also have the fighting type? Like what
Because
is
it's a really good
Punch
fighter.
good.
Yeah.
you know, when I look at these Pokemon, I think of like hip hop dance. And to me, and I don't think they have any, they don't represent the dancing at all. But that would feel like a type of attribute that fighting type would be categorized with.
Yeah, there's plenty of Pokemon that just dance, and so they're fighting type, like
Yeah.
like Quaquaval.
Yeah, that's true. Meloetta. Yeah.
It's just like a well-toned body.
Yeah. Yeah, they're physically fit. That makes
It's
sense.
definitely possible.
That makes sense. Because I do think most fighting types are represented by like a specific martial art. And I don't really see that with Scraggy and Scrafty. But maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure.
I mean, but like there is like street fights. You know what I mean? Like
Sure,
it's
yeah.
dirty
Yeah.
kind of fighting, but it's not a
Underground
art,
fighting.
but it is like
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And like people do it professionally and make money off of it.
Sure,
even if
sure.
It's not.
Yeah, we need like an MMA Pokemon.
It's not legal. Makes sense.
Yeah, we got Pawniard next, dark and steel type, evolves into Bisharp. And these are based on chess pieces. You get the pawn and the bishop. But I think the dark type is the knives, and the steel type is like the steel of the knives.
It's
So it's just
also
a bunch
the
of
knife.
swords and knives. Yeah,
The dark type is the knives, and the steel type is the
The
knife.
steel type is the knife, and the dark type is that it's a mean knife.
yeah.
Yeah, I actually
Yeah.
have nothing for this on dark type. I don't know.
mean, I think
a
it's the
lot
knives.
of samurai tactics because
Oh,
they're
yeah,
like
samurai.
samurai specifically.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the Nobunaga era, I think it's like the 1500s.
Yeah,
Like that was a very dark time for Japan. Like their strategies were full on just, oh, this village over here is sheltering some enemies. Just kill absolutely everyone, women, children, everyone.
Holy cow!
destroy
It
the
was-
village.
Very, very dark. Nobunaga was not a good guy. That's literally what they did to change Samurott to Hisuian Samurott. Was they took Samurai Hero and applied Samurai Nobunaga, and that's why he's dark type now.
Okay, I thought it was
And
more of
he's
like a Ronin.
better that way.
I mean, there's mixed things, but yes,
Okay,
I think
Yeah.
that's really cool. I didn't know about that.
I think it's just because a lot of samurai tactics got really messed up.
Yeah,
I mean, war is messed up always.
yeah,
but like
absolutely.
samurai especially.
Okay.
Right.
Interesting. I'll have to look more into that. Next up is Volibee, another dark and flying type Pokemon. I think this one's pretty obvious. You get the skulls. It steals. I guess I imagine it probably kills things and then steals or takes the
baby.
bones.
From the
Babies
suffering
are
of
evil.
others.
yeah.
It's pretty cool. I don't know. This is a pretty good Pokemon, I think. I'm pretty sure if you take the skull of the Volibee and add it to the dress of the Mandibuzz, that creates like a jaw, which is kind of cool. But yeah, this
Of
one's
an unknown Pokemon.
yeah. This one's pretty on the nose. Also, like vultures are, they prey on
Yeah.
dead things.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
I don't think there's any more inspiration. Next is Dino and Zweilous and Hydreigon. And this is, when we talked to Dr. Labo, it was pretty cool. He kind of brought up some stuff around its beta design being based on a war tank,
Yeah.
which is so cool. Because you can kind of still see that in the design of Hydreigon. Actually,
Zweilous, too.
yeah, and Zweilous
I
too.
think it's wireless. Yeah.
And yeah, it's a cool Pokemon. It's literally just an outrage Pokemon. It's just a dragon that breathes.
Very violent dragon.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it is also kind of cool that even in the design, like the Pokemon themselves kind of look dead. Like you can kind of not. It's hard to see their pupil. I think the two hands that are
Right.
also supposed to be like the other heads, they're kind of dead. They feel kind of like puppets, like hand puppets.
They got that 2012 emo haircut.
Yes, yeah, they really do.
It's true. Yeah.
Even with like a little, it's like their cowlick in the back is having their hair
Yeah.
stick up.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is a cool Pokemon because, yeah, it to me it reminds it makes me think of like, again, we were talking about war, right, and how awful that is, and maybe to me it kind of suggests like what the aftermath of that is, which is like kind of like a loss of your soul, right, or morality or whatever. So when I look at Hydreigon being a dark dragon type, it just makes sense to me why it's so difficult to see it next to like Dragonite, for example, who's this giant cuddly dragon that's fearsome and powerful, but it looks like a friend. Hydreigon does not look like a friend, which goes
It's
against
not friend shaped.
the philosophy of like creating a Pokemon. So I like
Yeah.
that a lot.
It also is based on Hydra, so like
Yeah.
that whole thing.
Yeah, you
It
cut off a
being-
head. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cut off a head and then another one grows back. So it's just a bunch of like dead heads.
Well, the Hydras were also, they were like, weren't they? Maybe I'm misremembering it with the Disney movie, but weren't they like of Hades?
Sure.
like,
A lot of Hydras are in various myths.
Okay, that makes sense. Inkay
Yeah.
is dark and psychic type. Malamar is dark and psychic type.
I just made a post on this about how this thing is like the most evil Pokemon.
Is it really? It's just like an evil mastermind? That's what I thought it was.
Pretty
Is-
bad.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Me, I didn't say much other than that, but its dex entries are just suggestive. Loxton, you were about to say something, but
I was gonna say, I feel like Inkay on itself doesn't super justify its dark typing, but Malamar,
Yeah.
yeah,
Malamar's definitely one of those like, oh yeah, dark, absolutely,
yeah.
just because it's a super villain.
Yeah,
It's the
full
super
on.
villain. Yeah. It even has
What can
super
be
villain
more
hair.
evil? Yeah, and like the anime episode about it, like
Oh,
what
yeah.
can be more evil than stripping people of their free will? You know?
Wow.
It's a bad
Yeah.
combo, dark and psychic, man. That's
Yeah.
like you don't want to mess with that. But basically, it's just the worst. It just
It even, this is so freaking cool.
pure-
In
pure
its
evil.
Shield Dex entry says it said that Malamar's hypnotic powers played a role in certain history-changing events.
Wow.
So like they're implying like there are things that have happened in the Pokemon timeline that would not have happened had a Malamar not gotten involved.
Yeah, I kind of wish Malamar was based more on a octopus because then that would be an additional kind of element there where they say like octopus are as intelligent or have the capacity to be as intelligent as humans. I don't know if that's
Yeah, but
exactly
squid
true.
are really
who says that a
too.
squid isn't?
Is it not?
similar? They're pretty similar
Yeah, they're
have no
animals.
pretty
idea.
similar.
I don't know.
Something else we noticed, Loxton, you mentioned in the anime they talk about like mind control, and something that we've noticed through some of these podcasts that we've done is that almost all of the fusion Pokemon or anything that has to do with like mind control, they're all psychic types. So to me, this is just adding another another piece of wood to that fire of that idea. That the psychic type is all about mind control, and it would make sense that the dark type would kind of be attached to it. Okay, we got Yveltal now. How does everyone say Yveltal? Yveltal?
Eveltal.
Eveltal.
Eveltal. Was it?
Okay.
Like
It comes from the
Isabel.
Old English word "evel," which means evil.
Oh,
Yeah.
so true. Yes.
So
Evel.
there's your reason.
Okay, so it's the evil type. It's the death Pokemon.
It's the evil type.
It's the death.
Destruction.
Yeah,
We can't say
destruction.
death.
Yeah.
I think it is, right? It's the life and death duality. It's Yveltal and Xerneas.
How
Yeah.
you say it is funny.
What?
Say the name again.
Yveltal.
I think I'm saying
However you're
Eveltal.
saying
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Eveltal. Eveltal. So it's evil.
we'll leave it at that. That's
yeah.
good.
So this thing,
It's a cool-
this thing
wicked.
fuels off. It's fueled off of death, kind of like a Grim Reaper, right? With its Grim Reaper finger feathers.
Finger feathers.
It's like a
Kinda,
bird.
sorta. I feel like the Grim Reaper in most things is typically seen as like a good guy.
Really?
You know, he only comes in times of despair, but he's just
Okay.
there to help guide you to the afterlife.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
Whereas Yveltal just it feeds off of death.
Okay.
Yep.
I forget there's a mushroom that looks exactly like it.
Like
like-
Yveltal?
Yeah.
Oh,
Let
wow.
me see if I can find it again.
Is it like the red?
It's everything. It's
Okay.
like Death's finger mushroom or something.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I think I've seen that. Yeah.
I've got a picture of it. I can't find out the name though.
A
I'm
lot
looking
of
it up.
people say that it's a vulture.
Yeah,
Devil's
vulture makes sense
fingers
to me.
is what it is. Devil's fingers mushroom.
Devil's finger fungus.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
crazy.
That does look
Interesting. I mean, it looks like an. That's crazy, dude. Imagine
Like it.
this was
Looks like
growing in your
Malamar.
lawn.
They
It
got
does.
Malamar back. Malamar's
Yeah.
hair.
It looks like a little
But-
squid or a like it really
If I
looks like
saw-
squids.
You
Like
seeing this grow up
tentacles.
out of the ground? What are you doing? Like,
Oh, I'm running.
I'm like,
I'm moving.
like, I'm not touching that.
Like this is what comes out of
Mess.
the ground. This is like in Tears of the Kingdom, right? Like you see stuff like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
before jumping into the depths. That's wild. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And like
People
mushrooms
say it's
also
a
thrive off of death and decay.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
so true. So it should be a fairy
Good
type,
connection.
like a mushroom or a grass type. Guzzlord is next with a dark and dragon type. This thing is it's gluttony, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like Hydreigon, where it's like this destruction dragon, but it just eats everything. It just eats for no reason. It like destroys cities, civilizations. It's kind of like a kaiju in that way. Yeah. Do you guys know? Is there any additional lore?
I mean, you know, it did like straight up end a universe practically.
It
You
ended
know.
a universe. I thought it was just a
Practically, I mean-
like a Alola back.
I mean,
in
it
a-
might have just been Alola that it ended. I mean, it's unclear. We don't know if the rest
Okay.
of the world survived, but
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
Implication.
if
Just
you
a
kept
big
eating,
kaiju threat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Selfish.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah. Selfish. It's one of the 7
got-
deadly sins, right? Gluttony.
Yes, that's the one.
And here's one of Loxton's favorite Pokemon. We got Impidimp now, a dark and fairy type. These things have really
yeah.
grown on me, honestly, over the years. Yeah, like,
I do.
yeah.
I
Loxton's got
love
the
There you goes.
Loxton's got the plushie.
There he goes. Do
Absolutely.
you like the rest of them, Loxton, or just Impidimp?
Not
Like,
as much. Impidimp's definitely my favorite of the 3, but
Gotcha.
I still love all of them.
He's a good boy.
I like I like Morgrim a little more.
I do like Morgrim.
I
And
love
its
its face.
hair kind of looks like a weapon.
Yep.
It's a glaive.
there is a weapon.
Yeah, glaive. And then so we I feel like we just talked about this in the Gen 8 tier list, which maybe isn't even out yet, but so Grimmsnarl it does have a full body, but it kind of builds itself up, its muscular structure with its own hair. So it's not really a muscle. And is that like maybe the growth of its hair is the fairy type, or the fact that it's a gremlin is a fairy type? But like, what is the dark type? Is it just that, again, it's just like a goblin?
Well, it's like a little goblin. It's like a little devil. And like if you look
Little
at
devil,
European
yeah.
history, like most fairies, when Christendom was taking over Europe, they basically took the local beliefs and said, "Oh, all these fairies that you guys believe in, those are demons. They're wicked. Stop believing
Sure.
or stop worshiping them because they're wicked and the worst. They're dark."
Yeah.
But like just a century before then, they were just little magical creatures, little fairies.
Okay. So
That's where a lot of that comes from.
but that reminds me of Absol, where it's like, again, it's like those are. I mean, obviously, I guess in universe they're dark type, but the creation of the Pokemon from our own perspective, as just like playing this as a video game, like I guess I'm thinking of the dark type, and I'm thinking like, is that justified? Should it actually have the dark type if it's not really evil? But I guess
think it's fair just because it's
Yeah.
mischievous, you know,
Yeah.
and
Mischievous and mean. And then Grimmsnarl, you start getting into like ogre territory, which
Sure.
are like
Yeah.
inherently very aggressive and like they raid villages to steal food and all
Okay.
that.
Right.
yeah.
That's
Morgrim
interesting.
Looks
I
like
kinda-
a little demon, you know, like he
Yeah.
looks like a demon.
I
Such-
kind
it
of always
really is
saw
a cool Pokemon.
Grimmsnarl as like a troll under the bridge kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's Dex entry picture in Scarlet and Violet shows it by a bridge too.
Oh,
which
that's cool.
Which I always thought was interesting.
It might be an English tale. I don't know for sure, but I don't know. Like the whole trolls under the bridge.
I think it
Might be-
is.
It might be European, but yeah, in general.
It's definitely European. I just don't know if it's British or could also be like Scandinavian because
Yeah.
they've had a lot of like troll stuff.
Do we know who designed
then-
these Pokemon?
and then- Oh, I think it was
James Turner.
James Turner. Yeah,
Okay.
That's a tough one.
maybe. I
Yeah.
all I remember is, in Sword and Shield, almost all of the Mon that he designed have their tongue sticking out, which became like an inside joke for me.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever noticed that. Well, actually,
Never
wait,
noticed that. That's crazy.
did he do our next Pokemon Obstagoon? Because that has its tongue sticking out.
Yes,
I think so.
he did do Obstagoon. I'm pretty sure.
No way. I'm gonna have to look at that now. All the Pokemon that have their tongues sticking out. Yeah, so we talked about Obstagoon. Obstagoon obstructs, which is again just kind of like, it's not like a clean one-on-one fight. It's a little bit different. It kind
Yeah.
of catches its
It
prey
also
off guard.
listens to rock and roll.
Yeah, of
so-
course. Yeah, it plays Stairway to Heaven backwards.
Yeah,
Yo,
it
why
plays
is
its music.
Zarude-
It's that neighbor that plays his music too loud.
yeah, that might be me. Yeah,
I
why?
need to actually know why Zarude is a dark type. Because I get the grass type, but it's got
Power
like
monkeys
jungle
are pretty
healing.
aggressive. They say those are some of the most aggressive monkeys.
But it feels like it
Yeah.
has such a purity to the forest as like as a guardian of the forest. Isn't that like what it is?
Mhm.
It
It's
is
weird.
It does say in Sword it's incredibly aggressive,
Yeah.
and the other Pokemon of the forest fear it.
Okay.
They listen to its rule because they're scared of it.
Yeah.
Ah.
I don't know. That seems kind of weak. Dark grass, and
It
it's
is
not
a
like we
little
need
weak.
more. It's not like we need more dark types or dark grass
Definitely
types.
don't need more
specifically.
dark grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're dark grassed out now.
Overquill is a continuation of whatever it was called.
Yeah. We can
Quillfish.
probably breeze through these since we already
Yeah. King
covered. We
Gambit.
pretty much covered their
Yeah.
same things. I mean, they just go deeper into them.
Yeah. King Gambit is, you can see the samurai way more there.
Nice.
That Loxton was talking about. We've got Iron Jugulis, which still has the. So Loxton, my kind of theory with the future Paradox Pokemon is that you can see that they have this like power source within them. Each of them have that texture to them that makes it look like there's like a galaxy energy, something within them, right?
Spacey singularity juice.
Yeah. And I feel like each one of them, because they're all different colors as well, and maybe the color doesn't correspond to the type, but I feel like each one of those, each of the Paradox Pokemon have or are fueled by whatever their dark elemental energy is. So honestly, I'm looking at this one. This one might be the weakest case for this. But yeah, I don't know
Very
if it would be.
much
I don't
so.
know if it'd be the dark type energy. It probably would be the dark type is the energy source, and then the flying type is like maybe the mechanics or or I guess the anatomy of how it like floats, possibly. But I don't know.
I would have went with dragon flying, to be honest, but they probably couldn't
Sure.
because of balancing it. It's just, why is it dark? Even if you look at like its information,
Yeah.
it's just like a happy robot that was born out of love. It's like, bro. Actually, there's some where it's like isn't it a weapon? I can't remember exactly, but that might be where
Sure,
comes
it could
from.
be
I
a
don't
weapon.
remember, but it I mean either way, you just look at it as a thing of it's connected to Hydreigon. Every single Paradox
Yeah.
Pokemon shares a type with its
No, but a
counterpart.
weapon makes
It
sense.
got dark because Hydreigon's part dark.
A weapon could make
Yeah.
sense though because it's it's a weapon of war, which is what
There is
Hydreigon
some
as well.
there's a crazy story now that I remember. Just came back to me, but there's a crazy story like that it like wiped out a town or something like that.
wow.
So I think that's what it comes from.
That
at least
lines up then.
lore-wise.
And
Yeah.
then,
these four,
yeah.
The good
you
old
know,
treasures of ruin.
Do you
Or
like
is
these,
it ruinous
Loxton?
treasures? I always get them mixed up.
treasures of ruin. I think is
Yeah.
the official.
They're really cool. They're grown on me. I don't really care for Wu Chen that much, but I like them a lot.
Yeah.
They're really distinct.
So-
Yeah.
I actually just finished a script about these four.
Oh, great.
Oh,
Ooh,
Spicy.
I'm
Can you give us
excited
any?
for that.
Yeah. So, like, what are your take?
a little
Um,
teaser.
Their treasures are all linked to, the trade between Portugal and China.
Yeah.
Portugal is importing all kinds of stuff for a couple centuries, and that's why they're in Paldea. But then the actual like form that they take is based somewhat on the opposite of the four auspicious beasts. I'm trying to remember what they're called, but like so there's the auspicious beasts, which are what the four Landaruses are based on, their Therian forms.
Yeah.
And then they all have their negative opposites that are all bad things, like selfishness and gluttony and just not caring about people, like the absence of love, things like that. And they are basically based on those. I'll pull up my script again because I'm drawing blanks.
I'm glad you got there though, because I remember you had messaged me about trying to help out with trying to figure out these things because they're just like, why are they in Paldea?
They're weird. They're really weird.
Yeah.
And then when you look at the four mythical monsters they're based on, like they don't super fit visually aside from Shen Pao. Like the thing Shen Pao's based on is like this vicious tiger with swords for teeth, and you know.
Yep.
But then you get Chi Yu, which is based on Hun Dun was his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look up just Hun Dun, Hundun, like that's Chi Yu, and like it doesn't really look like Chi Yu, but you can kind of see it.
This is like Lumi's
Wait,
thing
this?
because he
That
loves.
was the thing
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
Shang-Chi.
I was gonna say Lumi was gonna
What?
say something about Marvel. For
That
sure.
was that's Morris.
It's just
Yeah.
it's just a butt with wings.
Pretty
It just
much,
doesn't
but
have
it's
a head.
it's like chaos, and like what is more chaotic than flame and fire and fish swimming all over the place.
Yeah. That's wild.
But and then the other, like Wo Shen is based on another thing that's like a boar mixed with a tiger, and like that's not a snail at all. But then you look at it and it's like, oh well, the boar tiger is a scribe that writes down everything the kings say. And that's literally what Wo Shen does also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Ting Lu is based on this big beast that is made of metal and is often inscribed on metal cauldrons. So like Ting Lu, really they just took the Chinese beast and plopped it on the head of the deer.
Yeah.
But
There's a lot of mixed.
but they're
things.
at their core they're all negative traits in like Chinese folk religion.
So cool.
And that's why they're all dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's refreshing for me to see a quartet or a trio of, sub-legendary Pokemon that are not just like a bunch of like variants of a clone, right? It's like, I think I'm sick of the, Mesprite, Azelf,
Landorus,
Wait, you're
and
sick
green
of it with-
Landorus,
Yeah,
and orange
exactly.
Landorus, and
Exactly.
pink
Yeah,
Landorus.
Exactly. This is so cool. This is really interesting. I mean, even the Reggies are like, I think, really cool and inspired, but again, it's like they all have the same body type. But I like how this quartet are tied by not their silhouettes, but actually by their lore themselves. And then they all have like such unique typing as well. I think that's really cool.
Definitely.
Okay. Let's so now we have
in the final stretch.
yeah, here we go. So we have
hopefully.
secondary Pokemon, secondary dark type Pokemon. These are Pokemon that have, that I feel like, and it kind of goes both ways because theoretically, and sometimes this does matter, the dark type is really just an add-on to its base concept. It's for example, we got, Carvana. It's a angry fish, essentially. But sometimes the dark type really is its primary typing. So we'll see. We got a Alolan Grimer and a Alolan Muck. Again, just adding dark type to the Kanto Dex.
I don't really know why they're dark type.
Yeah.
Like Muck is violent sometimes and it breaks things to eat it, but like any animal would get, aggressive if it's starving.
True.
I wonder
It's
if
weird.
maybe it's like a quicksand thing. It's not quick. It's not sand, but I'm thinking of like sinking into something goopy. That could be considered dark type, like a trap.
I don't think
of
it
some
has
sort.
anything to do with sand though.
I'm
No, it
assuming
doesn't.
it
I'm
just
just
comes
thinking.
from like what Loxton said, that like when it gets hungry, it'll destroy your furniture or whatever.
Yeah.
I personally think it's the whole poison dark thing, that it just connecting poison to being bad. But I don't know, it like heals the environment.
It does
too.
heal the
It's just-
environment, which sounds like
taking-
But
very-
it
It takes
also
all the
says that it's
trash
like
in.
very friendly too. So oddly enough, it kind of feels like this should be the pure poison, and
Yeah.
the Cantonian Muck should be the
yeah.
poison dark.
dark version.
Interesting.
Interesting. I
can see that for sure.
Interesting. So we got Tyranitar, rock dark type. Of course, this is an angry mountain kaiju. It's a tyrant, very literally. Such a cool Pokemon, iconic. I actually just got one in Pokemon Sleep, and it's the most adorable thing, sleeping on its belly every night.
Nice.
But I don't know if you guys have any additional lore for Tyranitar.
I just think like the secondary ones a lot of times are just like flavor almost, or like just
Sure,
a
yeah.
added little thing, because like Tyranitar, he's angry. That's pretty much it. Like I guess Godzilla.
Yeah,
you know,
Godzilla,
like
yeah.
Godzilla attacking, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
However, I think
rampages too. Like it talks about in Brand Diamond Shining Pearl how like when it goes on a rampage, they have to draw a new map because
Yeah.
it just changes the landscape that much. Like
That's
that's
crazy.
how angry its outbursts are.
wow. Yeah, I think what you're saying makes sense, Saul, but also then we've got Nuzleaf and Shiftry, which are grass and dark type. And I'm pretty sure Shiftry is based on something in Japanese.
Tengu.
Yeah, where it's
yes.
like this wind spirit. We actually just talked about it on the flying type episode, how it probably should have the flying type, if anything. But yeah, this is so it's just like just a dark spirit, I guess.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Carvana is a water dark type. Sharpedo is water dark type. Sharks are angry. It's a torpedo.
Dun 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 dun. I
Yeah,
will eat your
yeah.
boat.
Literally, yeah. That's a great, yeah, that's what it says on Bulbapedia. Dun 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 dun. It's the
Yeah.
perfect explanation. Cacturn that's interesting. It's a scarecrow, right? Scarecrows.
That's
Scary
their
scarecrow.
behavior, though. It's their behavior. They stalk lone travelers
Oh,
in the
wow.
night and then beat them up.
Oh boy,
Wow. That's crazy.
it's rough.
Yeah, that is rough. He's like a
Yeah.
punk. Crawdont is just I actually don't know about Crawdont. Crawdont is just a giant crawfish.
Extremely territorial.
Is it?
I
in
think
its
is why
dex?
it's dark type. Like
Okay.
if you get anywhere close to its pond, it will beat you to smithereens.
No way. And it does kind of have these like big, don't say meaty claws. It's got these big claws for punching, maybe.
You have to say it now.
I said
You
it.
did say
I
it.
said
You
it.
said it. I think that it comes from the like imitation of Sharpedo.
Yeah,
that it's
that's
trying
true.
to like scare off
yeah.
enemies.
I forgot
yeah,
about
I
that.
think. hmm
What a cool piece of
got-
that's so nice.
Interestingly
the,
enough,
like,
too, it says
mouth.
that its pincher's meat is actually like really nasty and smells bad
Wow.
versus like it compares it to Clauncher and says that like, oh, that meat, that claw meat is really good. So like
Wow.
that's just kind of like I think about how fairies, every time something's sweet, they're like, oh, fairy type. You know, it's like the opposite of that in the sense that like it's disgusting and bad to eat. So they're like, dark type.
That makes sense too. Like when, like I mean, I'll use fish as an example since we're talking about this. But they say like if you catch a fish and you let it like suffocate and it's in pain, right?
So
it actually
dark.
won't taste as good because it's releasing all this like lactic acid and other
I think
stuff into the meat, into its like muscles. So I wonder if like a lot of these Pokemon just have. I mean, yeah, they would have like a dark aura within them. Yeah, that's crazy. That's maybe the dark aura is really just like negative energy. It's just like it's like negative energy
Tastes
manifesting.
icky.
Yeah.
Ew.
You know, it's like
Also
when you know when
crawfish.
you got something like bad on your mind.
Also,
and you're-
crawfish is kind of icky. Yo.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm
yeah.
not a fan.
I love crawfish. Get out of here.
Yeah,
yeah,
you're from the south.
Maybe there's a callback to how like
true.
lobsters were, used to be like prisoner food, right? And before it became like a luxury. Maybe it has something to do with that.
What jail is that? Sign me up.
Yeah. Lock me up. Here we go. Another poison and dark type.
These are the worst, bro.
Yeah.
These are,
Stunky
like-
and Skuntank. They should have
Oh,
just committed with the fire type. Like I love that they get flamethrower out their
No, but
butt.
Well, gas is flammable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
It's the whole gas thing that's going on with them that I absolutely hate.
I can hear its cry in my head.
I know.
It is not a cry. It's a sound.
It's a squeal.
And then
Stunky was my very first shiny.
oh, was
Really?
it? That's a good one.
Huh.
Though.
Yeah. Was it in
Congratulations.
Diamond and Pearl or another game?
It was in Legends Arceus.
Nice.
Cool.
You didn't get your first shiny until Legends Arceus?
Right?
That's
I,
wild.
I've
That
considered
is
myself
messed
unlucky.
up. Yeah, you need to talk to Masuda about that.
Yeah.
And since then,
Excuse
the
me?
only other shiny I've gotten was a male Salandit.
No,
But that's a good shiny.
If it
though.
was a
That's good shiny.
female,
It is, it's
that would have
cute, but-
that would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I get the feeling you don't do a lot of shiny hunting.
No.
No, but still, I don't
refused
either. You
to
come
until I got
across
my
them,
first
though.
one.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, once you get the taste.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
Once you get
maybe
the
I can
taste.
make this happen again.
no, that's so wild. Not until Legends Arceus.
So
Crazy.
Stunky and Skuntank, they're poison type because they're skunks, and they're dark type because of what?
They're skunks.
Skunk.
They're just yeah.
And
You
they're
ever
little,
been-
they're little
hey,
punks.
I guess.
Have you
yeah.
ever been attacked by a skunk, Dusty?
I've never been attacked by one, but
It's scary.
I've run away from one.
It's
I'm
scary.
man
I've
enough
been
to
attacked
say
by a
that I've
skunk,
run
and it's
away
scary.
from a skunk.
Oh,
I
well,
really
yeah. I mean,
hope-
you run away, but was it going to attack you? Is what I'm
No,
saying.
no.
They're pretty territorial.
I bet. Yeah, that's true.
I really hope we get another skunk Pokemon one day because
That'd be nice.
this is just—they're adorable actually, and this is like
Stunky.
got a butt for a face, and it's just not.
I know
it's
you
not
really don't
happening.
like butt Pokemon. So Spirit
No.
Tomb is Ghost and Dark type because it's the
Evil spirits
yeah,
incarnate.
beautiful.
Yeah, this is the no-brainer.
yeah.
Spiritomb's a no-brainer.
We got Drapion, another poison and dark type.
It's an Oni.
Yes.
Is
okay.
it? See, so I was always
That's
confused
so
about why
obvious
they got
once
rid
you
of the
see
bug.
it. I've
thing.
never noticed that, but like when you said, I was like, oh my god, it is.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
An
isn't it
Oni
like
scorpion.
isn't it called an ogre scorpion?
Oh, that too.
In the what
Yeah.
Lumi, do you
Oni
have
is
the
just a
Dex
Japanese
entry?
word for ogre.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it?
You're saying like it's little classification. It is the ogre scorpion Pokemon.
Okay. I didn't know ogre was English for Oni.
It's called Sand Demon. The Sand Demon is what it's called, and
Sure.
Pokemon Shield's text entry says that.
Why is
An
it
Oni-
poison type and not ground
Oni
type?
Yeah,
is
Oni.
a kind of demon also.
Yeah.
Okay, that lines up. So and then you were saying Hisuian Samurott gets that dark typing because it basically becomes a rogue, immoral samurai.
It's basically Nobunaga himself.
okay.
Like
Yeah.
a lot of the Hisuian Pokemon are pulling from like literal people. From like one of them is Nobunaga's sister, one of them's Nobunaga's wife, one of them's Nobunaga's top general, another one is the guy that killed Nobunaga, and then here's Samurott, who is Nobunaga.
wow.
Yeah.
Can we just, before we move on, can we just address the fact that this is the best Pokemon in the entire franchise?
It is
Sandile,
really
you're
good.
right.
It is.
No,
really good.
Hisuian Samurott. But Sandile is great too.
I respect Lumi for saying that because I usually
It's so
shout out
cool.
my favorites every single time we get to them as well.
Is
I've
this
heard
good.
enough about Scizor. I want to talk about Samurott.
Yeah, we bring up Scizor quite a bit. That's fair. I like it a lot, so that's good. It's a cool Pokemon.
Sandile is adorable though.
Yeah, I feel
Sandile
like
is great.
why do Sandile and Krokorok have the dark type? Is it because they wear sunglasses? Are they deceptive? Crocodile makes sense. It's called a crook.
I
Right.
mean, sunglasses are inherently evil.
No, but the sunglasses
You're
cut.
hiding something.
Yeah, maybe.
Mm.
It's like a poker face.
Like how crocodiles hide in the river just waiting to ambush their
Dude.
prey. They'll sit there for
Yeah.
months, not moving. And then something comes by just to get a little drink of water, and then jump, you're dead.
Oh my god! When we were in Florida, we were looking at the manatees. This was in the Everglades, and we were with the manatees. And then all of a sudden, the manatees went away, and then we saw a crocodile. It was pretty far away. It was in the water, and we were like, "Okay, that's sus. Let's keep our distance." But some of the people I was with were kind of goofing off a little bit too much, and I started getting like so paranoid. I'm like, "This thing's gonna dip under the water. We're not gonna see it, and it's gonna eat you." But we're
Your
good.
fear of crocodiles and alligators is so funny to me. Like,
Dude,
I
we don't have
remember-
those in New England.
I remember the first time, like, you said something to me about, y'all have alligators down there. I was like, yeah, they're
Bro,
like
I'll take the
squirrels.
chipmunks
Like,
any
you
day.
just see them.
I saw a garter
Yeah.
snake yesterday.
Soul
I
lives in Florida. They're like common. People rob gas stations with alligators down there.
It's true. But also, if you're swimming in water and there's an alligator in the water near you, I recommend getting out of the water.
And if you're swimming in a water in Florida, there's an alligator near you.
Oh my
Pro-
god!
probably.
No, we weren't swimming. We were just walking around. But
Okay, if you're walking,
No,
then
dude.
you have that
Dude,
was an
I-
irrational fear.
I've got way too many irrational fears.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, cause he told me about it. He was just standing on a dock above it.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's nothing.
I was spooked. I'm like, I've seen these things jump out of the water. So okay,
Yeah.
so the dark type makes sense on crocodile.
I think
this is a good
Just
Pokemon.
a case of it's evolves into it. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
becomes
interestingly
It
enough,
gets
I'm looking
bigger.
at Sandow's dex entries, and there's not really anything that screams like dark type about Sandile.
Yeah.
I mean Krokorok, it talks about how it hunts, so I guess because it hunts, I don't know. It's not vegan, so it's evil, I guess.
Yeah. So
Greninja.
is Greninja water dark type because it's a ninja and that's it? Because I
Pretty
feel like
much.
it's
Ninjas came about, and when ninjas came around, they were seen as like wholly dishonorable.
Okay.
Like there was nothing lesser to a warrior than being a ninja, because you're using all these deceitful tactics instead of facing your enemies face to face like a man,
yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that
that's
lines up.
that's like the whole plot of Ghost of Tsushima. Like
Yeah.
main character samurai starts adopting ninja tactics, and his dad is like, "You're doing ninja things? That is the most disrespectful. You are disowned to me," kind of stuff.
Wow.
It's like Lumi's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, when my dad found out about Greninja, he was like, "There's a ninja in this game.
Yeah. And
Done.
it's a frog. You're watching
Pokemon
Grid-
is done."
Yeah.
No, but honestly, like it's kind of weird. That's the only reason I think, because then Greninja, especially in the anime, is like portrayed as like
The good
it's like
guy.
Ash's
He's a hero.
best buddy.
Yeah.
But he's a ninja, so it just comes from that, really. I think.
Yeah.
He's not evil, but he uses kind of underhanded, shady
Sure.
tactics.
Yeah.
Shurikens. Yeah, that makes sense. Pangoro is a fighting
I
dark
think
type.
one of the best examples of what dark really means
Okay.
in some cases, because it's dark fighting. Like, how does that work? Because they're like sort of seen as opposites of each other, but
Yeah.
like he's a delinquent, he's the school bully, but he defends others with his bully tactics. He uses his knowledge
cool.
of bullies to fight bullies.
I
kind
didn't
of
know he
thing.
was kind of a protector like that. I mean, that makes sense with its relationship with how it evolves and it's preform Pancham. I didn't know it was like a defender of bullies.
Well,
No,
not of
of-
bullies,
or-
From
a defender against bullies.
Yes, yes.
Because he knows how bullies work, because he is a bully. So
Oh, I see that.
it's really cool.
That is cool, and you do see
And
that.
That's why you have to have the dark type in your party. It has to get the bad influence to become a bully.
Interesting. That's cool.
Cool.
I didn't realize there was that extra element. That's really cool.
Oh.
Incineroar makes sense. It's fire dark type. It's not really a fighter. It's you call it a heal in
Well,
wrestling.
no, it's
Yeah.
it's based on a because wrestling's it's like a performance too, right?
Exactly.
And it's based off of, I don't remember the name of it, but it's
You just
what
said it.
Incineroar's classification is.
a heal.
A
But
heel
a
wrestler.
heel, yeah.
Okay.
But it's like who
An
plays
elbow?
the bad guy and
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Most people know that one. So
Yeah. And it's definitely exemplified in the color scheme as well. I feel like there's got to be another element to it. Incineroar is so popular.
yes, very much so.
That's
even
interesting because if it's gonna be
I
a
like
dark, if it's gonna be a dark type, but also a starter type or a starter
though. Yeah.
Pokemon, it kind of has to. It can't actually be like evil in any way.
I
It
think
just
you
has
mean
to.
first partner Pokemon.
Sure, yeah, that's what I mean.
ah,
Yeah, not even to jump ahead, but Meowscarada is also another dark type, which is not evil, but just uses tricks. It's a magician.
Yep.
So that makes sense. Morpeko is electric dark type, and it gets hangry, but
Which
it's,
is kind of
pigs
what
get
I'm.
so pissy
I know.
Yeah.
when they're hungry.
Dude, being hangry is a real thing. I know the name is kind of cringe, but yeah, I'm getting there right now. To be honest,
Are you really?
I was like dinner time of like 11 or 9 o'clock. So
my wife caught a shiny Morpeko and named it Snickers.
There we go.
that's good.
Cute.
That's good. I love the hangry mode. It's
Yeah.
so adorable.
It is cute. So single strike style Urshifu is fighting dark type, and that must have something to do with the fighting style. Like the dark
Yeah.
type there. I'm not
At
sure.
most, you could say, like, instead of doing a big or like honorable fight back and forth, it's fair. It's just a single punch to the head, knock you out, concussion, because they're just mean. They want to win at any cost, kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind
Yeah,
of
because the other one's water. Yeah, it's fighting water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
that is pretty ruthless. We got Bombardier, another flying dark type, but the dark type is secondary. You know,
Bro,
someone.
you're not gonna skip low kicks. I know.
Oh,
you're
did
not
I?
gonna
I didn't. I didn't mean to. And I also didn't realize that it's bug dark.
Yeah, because we
I thought it
were
was just
talking
bug
about
type.
we were talking about the common riders because he's a common rider, but he's also dark type,
Yeah.
which is like
So that's
He's the
what it
Common
is.
Rider villain,
Ooh, low kicks. Such a cool Pokemon.
which really a low kick is like a dirty tactic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Especially in Street Fighter 2, when you would just spam low kick over and over again
Yeah.
and win as Ryu.
that's true.
And also, like the
Um,
way this Pokemon actually, it's the way its anatomy is built. It has these hind legs or this extra set of legs to kind of flash out at people. Or I think
Yeah.
it
Like a
uses.
Well, it actually
switchblade.
stands up on.
Yeah,
them.
yeah, like a switchblade.
It's interesting because I'd never thought of it before actually being a villain, but we in the community, I guess, we're always trying to find out like who's Palafin's like nemesis, like villain nemesis. But there's multiple ones because this could be one, and Scovillain, and I think there's another one in Paldea that could be a villain as well. I can't remember right now, but just
Well, a lot
random.
of people think because Infinizen's deck entry, it talks a little bit about it having like some issues with Barraskewda. A lot of people think it's Barraskewda because he has the villain mustache.
Sure.
basically he's just a superhero that saves the world from all these.
Yeah,
Bad
Pokemon. Captain America, he's got the Red Skull. He's got other villains that I
Of
can't
all
think
of
of.
them. Yeah, of all of them to pick. Captain
That
America.
that was on me. Spider-Man as Green Goblin, Doc Ock. There we go.
There you go. That's so much better.
Bombardier is a dark type because it drops things on people, so that makes sense to me.
I think there's more to it, but
It
yeah.
likes to drop rocks on people. Dusty, I don't know how often you've been hit on the head with a rock, but it is not fun.
No, I mean I don't think it's fun.
Like, well, I'm just saying, it doesn't just drop things on people. It drops boulders.
Sure. That's a concussion at minimum.
Yeah. Often death. I mean, did you see the big ones the Titan were throwing at you?
Often.
Yeah, I know, honestly. We got Brute Bonnet.
Yeah, these are paradoxes to me. They don't make sense, and that's
I think
it.
they make sense. Roaring Moon is just this like it's like what Salamence would have been if it never learned how to fly, except it can fly. Right?
Yeah, just this big, ruthless, territorial monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dinosaur times. But Brute Bonnet's interesting, though. Because,
Yeah.
like,
What do
it
you
just
think?
adds to Dark. I don't know. Other than it kind of has, like, the Sandogasa with the
Yeah.
things around its face to, like, make it shady and sneaky.
Yeah,
kind
to
of
like
thing.
sneak in the tall grass. Or weren't these things isn't what this is what you just said inspired by isn't that a type of like I don't know, I feel like they would hide in swamps or in like
Oh, the hat?
rivers. And you would use
Yeah.
the hat to kind of like just keep low and keep hidden.
Yeah, a lot of ninjas would use them
Okay.
to just hide in places, especially, like, under the water.
Okay.
You use like, a lily pad kind of one on
Yeah,
it.
okay. That makes sense. It's cute.
It mentions that it has a really low intelligence, and that makes it like a savage fighter.
Sure.
So like I think about how how like in like cartoons the villain has like this one really dumb henchman who's
Yeah, that's
like
Brute
really
Bonnet.
strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of the mega evolutions are pretty straightforward. I really love that Mega Gyarados got the additional dark type because earlier when we were talking about Tyranitar being like just this destructive force, I feel like Gyarados fits that really well. So I'm glad it actually got the dark type as something that just savages the land, right? If you think about like the Lake of Rage, right? It was literally destroyed because of too much rainfall and because of Gyarados, right? So that makes a lot of sense.
Hoopa Unbound though.
Yeah, I thought the base
regu-
form.
regular Hoopa is not in this. I didn't realize
It's
it wasn't
psychic
dark.
Yeah, no,
Ghost.
it's Psychic Ghost. Yeah.
And then when it turns into Hoopa Unbound, it turns into Psychic Dark, which is
I did
cool.
not even know that.
Yeah.
the more you know.
Yeah, let's read the
Yes.
patrons.
Okay, so we want to thank our patrons of the month, all of y'all, but we want to give a special shout out to our mythical tier supporters. That's Trash Panda, Rhinestole, Candace Wendy's, Case, Coronet Highlander, and Sully the Skeleton. We want to give an extra special shout out to our Arceus tier supporters, which is Young, Smoky, Hayes, SEH Art Gold, and we want to give the most Gigantamax
Yeah, there we go. I was
of
gonna say
shout out
I was gonna say Gigantamax.
to our Game Freak Inc. supporters, Drogain and Bramtastic.
Thank you guys so
all
much.
So
Thank
much.
you guys so
We
much.
love you guys. Where is it? We love you guys.
Oh, he's got love on.
Love.
He's got love
Yes,
on his wall.
he did that
My-
for y'all.
My Airbnb loves you guys. It has specifically said this for you.
And can we
It actually
squash?
originally said Drogain Bramtastic to all of y'all
yeah.
right next to it, but Soul removed it because he was really disturbed how they knew that.
Yeah,
That's the reason.
yeah, at his hotel. Can we squash? I mean, listen, we're so grateful for all of you guys, but can we squash some beef, and some rumors because we got a
I
couple.
hate Dusty and Soul.
We got a couple comments. Okay, whoa, chill out, dude. We got some comments saying that we were breaking up as a podcast
Oh my gosh! Just because we haven't been there.
because
a few
Soul
times.
has been on vacation and no one knew it. So can we just like solidify that we're not breaking up? We're not breaking up,
No.
guys, right?
Dusty's
We'll
having a. Dusty's like, oh my gosh, are we breaking up? Because people said we are.
Dusty's, you look what y'all done. Look what y'all done. You've gotten to
shaking
Dusty.
his core.
You've gotten to Dusty. Dusty was sure, and now he's like, "Can we squash this?
Yeah,
we're not
we're like,
making
no,
it,
we're
right?
not squashing it. It's real.
We're not, right?"
But listen,
No, this is
Yeah.
this is my joy to do this.
it
This
really is a
great.
pleasure.
Yeah, so it's not ain't nobody breaking up. I'm just on
It
vacation.
is.
Yeah.
It is my best way from procrastinating doing my job.
It honestly
And
is so much. Like it's
that's
so
so
much
great.
fun. This is the
It
most fulfilling thing I've ever done. Like
It's
you
a
know,
great
in a-
outlet.
in a
like,
fun way.
It's a fun creative outlet, especially because all three of us make content on our own, and that's the thing, right? Is that sometimes you just kind of have so much that
Yeah.
you want to let out, but you only can do so much to let out. And so that's the fun thing about these is that, we've spent an hour now talking about, varying things. Like, even though it was all focused on rumors, we talked about Legends EA, talked about possible Unova remakes. What could the Switch 2 run like? And so that's the thing is it's such a nice creative outlet. We're not going anywhere.
and also listen, there's no other show on the internet like this, right? I don't think there's any other show, and you guys are funding the existence of Hidden Power, and we're going to the moon. Not to make a crypto.
Are we really
reference.
going to the moon?
We're going to the moon, guys. I meant to
Cool.
tell you, we're going to the moon.
That's
We all
awesome.
fit on Rayquaza.
Yeah,
Moss
that'd
Deep
be
Space
sick.
Center.
That'd be so sick.
We all fit on Rayquaza.
But if you guys want your name read at the end of the show, at the end of the podcast, if you want to get access to our secret Discord and talk with us in on a daily basis, if you want to help contribute to the conversation, and if you want access to bonus episodes multiple times a month, you can join us and support the show as for as little as $5 on Patreon, or you can become a YouTube channel member. Yeah, but we are not breaking up, just for the record. What has actually been happening is we've been recording and releasing episodes regularly, but I've also been doing a bunch of solo episodes with some of your favorite creators, and those are just going to go out as bonus episodes. So you're actually,
Yeah,
not only are we not breaking
Getting
up,
more.
you're just getting more content. That's actually what's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. Also, Soul has been on vacation, but the man does need to relax.
Sure.
He deserves it. He's such a great source of info for us all. He's gotta take a break sometimes.
He's
it's not even really about the vacation though. It's right though what Dusty was saying. Like we are.
Yeah.
It's more so just Dusty's doing some extra content for you guys, and who doesn't want extra content? We're still doing weekly episodes every single week.
and actually,
so
honestly, and I should put this out so people can actually like anticipate it.
Understand.
But I'm planning to do a live stream of Pokemon Snap. And Lumi, you should be happy. A bunch of pretty much once during every one of these guest interviews that I've been doing, someone has mentioned Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap.
And I'm like,
so proud of
I'm like,
y'all.
Lumi's not even here.
I'm
And
so
being,
proud of y'all.
they're like, oh, have you played Pokemon Snap? It's something. This would be really cool. And I'm like, no, I haven't played.
Oh,
it.
you mean the guests too?
the
Not
guests?
even I thought you meant
guests,
the comments. Ooh.
No, the guests have mentioned.
I'm telling
Pokemon
y'all, it's
Snap to
because
me.
it's a great game.
I know.
I feel like nobody takes me seriously
No.
anymore about new Pokemon Snap, but it really is an amazing game.
Yeah, so make sure you get access and support us on Patreon or YouTube channel members. I'll be doing a full playthrough of Pokemon Snap, new Pokemon Snap. That
I'll
will
be
be
there to harass them.
that will be available to
we,
supporters.
we are in the dry season too, so
Yeah.
we're
and we're pumping out more content than
doing
ever.
stuff. trying to do new things.
Yeah.
So
Now, with everything that we just discussed about the dark type, I want to look through all the other Pokemon that exist and determine which Pokemon we think could actually have the dark typing. Because I think there's plenty of Pokemon. Right off the bat, I think
Caterpie.
Fearow.
this is the part where Lumi starts joking about every
Yeah,
single Pokemon.
but
having
take
the
it
type.
seriously, Lumi, because we're still recording, right?
I'm taking it seriously. I think caterpillars are evil.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Fearow.
Selfish, gluttonous.
I feel like Fearow and Spearow really could have the dark
Yeah.
typing, and they are
Yeah.
so
Dark
boring.
Flying.
They're so boring in a normal
They're not
playthrough.
that boring.
They're boring because they feel irrelevant next to Pidgeot, right?
No,
You're irrelevant next to Pidgeot.
They're
We're
literally
all
it's the
irrelevant
same
next to
stat
Pidgeot.
spread. So I think
It's
Fearow
true.
could have the dark type. I think that'd be kind of cool. Arbok could also. Here's the thing:
Yes.
a lot of Team Rocket Pokemon could have the dark type in some way. Not all of them, but just some of them. And then
Jigglypuff.
Lumi.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. It puts people to
No.
sleep. Look at
It
the
could.
anime.
All right.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work, but it could.
It runs around putting these guys to sleep, then it draws on
That
their
is
face
true.
while they're sleeping. That's
it get-
mean.
Yeah, that does make sense. I could see. Yeah, I'm telling you, base Meowth could have the dark type, and then I don't even care about the Alolan form. How about this? Mankey and Primeape could have a dark typing because of how
Yeah, but then-
angry they are, and then when they die and turn into Annihilate, they just get the ghost type, right?
Yeah.
That's
Maybe.
what I
See
would
that?
think.
Hypno, bro.
Hypno could have it.
No.
That's
Nah,
It
it's
stole
just-
a child.
There's lots of Mon that steal childs that aren't dark.
True, I guess.
Yeah.
Should we do a whole episode on Pokemon that should be in prison?
yeah. Number 1, episode 1, Mr. Mime. Episode 2, Jinx. Man,
Maybe Jinx.
Gyarados.
Yeah, Gyarados is a
Mega
no-brainer.
Fix that.
Gyarados is a no-brainer for sure.
But
I
it's
could see
Mega
Jinx.
Yeah, Jinx because of the yokai.
That's true, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that would kind of well, I mean, it has the Psychic, it has the Ice, but Psychic doesn't really make sense with it. I don't think
Electabuzz is based on an Oni.
it is.
could be
Yeah,
that too.
I think Electabuzz could make sense. I think I'd prefer to give it the Fighting type, based on how it kind of evolves and ends up with all the with a bunch of punching moves.
Sure.
But the Dark type could work. I think, like I said earlier, Mewtwo as being depicted as this like angry, just like,
Very
conflicted-
resentful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
resentful is a good word.
He's misunderstood.
I think Psychic Dark type could be a great fit for it. I doubt there's gonna be a lot of.
Whoa, you going quick?
I don't think a lot of these
Gyarados,
Pokemon would have
maybe?
Dark type. No, Gyarados is just a spider. Snubbull and Gramble, they're really grumpy, but they're supposed to be actually like really like kind and like
the
trustworthy
fairy type for
Pokemon.
They should have the fighting type on them. Fairy fighting. That would have been cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Slaking's interesting to me. I don't think it would have the Dark type, but
Slaking.
Slaking.
Exploud.
I al-
Slacking.
I didn't realize I was saying that
Always say-
wrong.
You would
I
always
always
say
say slaking.
slaking.
Play King.
It's not until now that it has like has a second meaning. Slaking.
He's slacking off. He's slacking.
Yeah, Mawile could be cool, but I do like the fairy type on it because
Yeah, the thing is, some of them they have already good types, so you don't
Yeah.
want to take away. Because
Yeah.
Mawile could. It already does. If we did dark for nighttime, those terrible bugs could get dark.
I think
But it just
Spinda-
doesn't fit.
if
just doesn't
Spinda is a type of like drunken boxing, if that actually is part of its inspiration, I do think the dark type could make sense there if for the deception. So that could work.
Yeah, it is. Drunken boxing is inherently deceitful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about
love it.
Civiper? Civiper and Zangoose just being normal and poison. I feel like they need something else, a little juice. But I don't know
Yeah,
if the
I don't
dark
know.
type really makes
could
sense.
I could see it on either of them, but
Yeah.
not a very strong case for it.
They just get mad when they see each other. I mean, we all have that one person that we see, and it just angers us. You know.
Yeah.
Bennett could do it. Does Bennett's Mega get dark? No, doesn't. I don't think.
No,
But yeah, the whole grudge thing.
that's true.
Yeah, it does
It's
have
funny.
a lot of
Yeah.
those
Like, what
vibes.
is the difference between the dark type and the ghost? I guess the ghost type is really just like some sort of like astral projection. It's like
Well, a dark
ghost.
type isn't dead.
it's a ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. They're not dead.
They definitely have like overlapping traits, but
I think
they're
so.
distinct.
I think Huntail, we talked about this a little bit. Huntail could make sense for how
Actually,
deep it
no,
lives.
Gorbis would make
Yeah,
more
Gorbis.
sense.
Sure.
Gorbis.
Because it's Abyss.
Because it's evil.
Well, no, it's because it's Dex entries talk about how aggressive it is.
Here's the
No.
thing.
We have
Luxray,
to say Luxray, right?
Luxray
Do not say Luxray.
should not be the dark type at all.
It's not allowed, bro. It's not allowed.
But it's edgy and it has black fur.
No.
Yeah. And night vision.
I wonder if Game Freak will eventually like give in to that and just
No.
give it to us. They'll be like, "See,
don't
we
think
did
so.
it. Are you guys happy with the Gen 5 remakes that Ilka made?" And then we're like, "No. That's not what we wanted."
Kinda
Pure-
weird.
Ambipom,
Yeah.
you see the evil in its eyes.
Yes. we share this hatred.
Thanks a lot. You ruined Ambipom for me, Lux.
No, that thing's been ruined from the beginning.
I had never noticed the bulk. I just didn't pay attention to it, and then you pointed out in a video, and I was like, I don't even remember what video, but I was just like, great, that's ruined.
What
It's
about
done?
What about Perugly?
Yeah, I could
I
see that.
could see that.
It's
Just with how, like,
pompous.
Yeah. It's like any other dark
It's
type
deceitful. You don't think it's as fast as it is.
Carnivine could work as well. Because again, that's something that traps insects. Or I guess when
Yeah.
it's based on traps insects.
Is eating so bad?
I can't I'm
sometimes it is.
if
Licky
you're
Licky's running
Guzzlord,
around licking people.
I think Basculin could
Basculin
use
could have had
something
it.
just to make it more interesting.
Did you see Basilegion?
Yeah, but that's what made it more interesting more than anything. So
There can definitely be an eventual like alternate evolution to Yamask.
Yeah,
That
that'd
is
be
dark
cool.
type.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
That's like an easy one.
There's so many
'cause
good
it's so
ones you could do for Yamask, like evolution.
Isn't Chinchino a hoarder?
I think
There's
it is.
nothing
like-
wrong with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
we all have
not
collections.
inherently,
Lumi,
but,
I can see
obsessive is what
I
I'm
can
saying.
see all the
look
Pokemon.
at
in
your
room.
background right now.
Evil. I didn't say that I'm not it. I'm just saying it might be kind of dark.
Hey, what about Gothitelle? What about that whole line?
I was gonna
Because-
say I see people say that one a lot.
but and I'm not saying because
Goth.
I'm not saying because it has like a black dress on, but like I really don't know what its inspiration is. I'm pretty sure it can see into the future maybe or other dimensions.
It's inspired
It's
by
pretty
goth
much-
people.
Yeah, it's pretty much just an astrologist.
Okay,
It's an astrologist wearing Lolita Goth fashion.
that's kind of cool.
That's-
That's actually
The
makes me
goth-
like it.
I mean, the goth vibes could
Sure,
do a little bit, but
it's the same reason as like Zigzagoon, right? It's got like black makeup on. Okay, you're edgy, you're dark
Right.
type. But I
But
don't
that's
think
not
there's
okay
anything
for
like-
Luxray.
No, it's not okay for
Luxray is
Luxray.
different. Luxray is different. Happens to me all
Excelgor
the
has the
time
whole
when I hate
ninja
it.
thing, so you could make the same argument for Greninja with it.
Yeah, that is true.
That
And it
one
would-
I can see.
It would also make it more interesting standing next to Escavalier.
I mean,
Well,
you
there's a
know,
lot of
people
dead
have
air.
said it before about Zekrom, but I think that's just
No.
because it is dark, you know?
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah,
I
silly.
mean, there is the whole yin yang thing, but
Right.
Then you'd have to do something with Reshiram too.
Mm.
You would think that the Swords of Justice would have like a dark type counterpart or a dark type like rival to go up against.
Definitely
ran
none of
Barbaracle.
these.
I was thinking that
Yeah.
too. Barbaracle would be interesting.
big mean barbarian.
Yeah, that does make
It's kind of
sense.
like it reminds me of like an ogre as well
Crabominable because it's a crime.
against humanity.
Yeah, it's basic.
Midnight Lycanroc because it's edgy.
Dude,
Yes.
Oh, look, a
honestly,
mythical Pokemon.
they should have additional typings.
Yeah, it's
really
really
should.
sad that they're just all rock to me.
Is there a like competitive meta difference between them?
Yes.
Do they have like signature moves?
Yeah, so Midnight gets, it's not really signature moves, but Midnight gets counter, Midday gets Accelerock, and then Dusk got both of those, and I think Thrash or
And a
something.
cherry.
But
on
It's
top.
just
then-
the better one.
Yeah.
Well, and the
Minute-
base stat totals are different on them too. Midday's the fastest. Midnight is a bit bulkier, and then
Yeah.
Dusk they kind of disperse it a bit more evenly.
It'd be cool. if it
Basically,
was-
midday ends up being the best one, and midnight doesn't. And
Oh
that's
no,
sad.
Dusk is the best one. It also
Really? I don't
gets
see-
tough claws. It gets tough claws as an ability.
Oh, I never see people using it. I
That's
usually
probably
say,
because if you're watching doubles, people are going to use Midday because of the Sand Team, and you can do Sand Force with it. But
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Lycanroc midnight form. If it's gonna get another type, dark type would be cool. Lycanroc, dusk form could be like fighting type maybe. I think
orange.
Yeah,
It is
orange.
orange.
That's true. Wishy-Washy could be a dark type. It's kind of reminds me of Gyarados with its like destructive power, but
Lurantis is deceitful.
yeah, that is
Oh,
true.
Quite a bit, yeah.
I love
It's
Lurantis
just-
is
It's
good.
just not dark though. It doesn't have a dark vibe.
No.
I don't know.
Shiinotic,
Yeah.
a mythical Pokemon. It's coded in game as a mythical
Wait,
Pokemon,
what?
and we have
Wait,
to live with
wait,
it.
who?
Shiinotic is
Oh, that
it's
was
an
in your
error.
new video.
It's an error, but Shiinotic is coded in Scarlet and Violet as a mythical.
That's hilarious.
Pokemon.
No
And the best part is
way.
it's not even in the game.
It's not even in the game.
So they just like randomly grabbed a Pokemon that wasn't in the game. Went, this is a mythical.
Oh
It
my
had to be a
gosh.
mistake. So
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be Marshadow is what a lot of people think.
The same
That's
way that
fine,
I
though.
Corviknight. It's all black.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
But also, like, Dark Knights and Black Knights are like inherently the opposite of the Honorable Knight kind of
That's
thing.
true.
That's. I wouldn't say regular Corviknight should be like Dark Steel, but like that's an easy regional variant.
Sure.
yeah, that'll be super cool.
Isn't it? I feel like there's another steel type that is kind of
Oddly
like
enough,
that.
Surfetched gets a lot of dark moves.
Interesting.
Like that was actually a point a lot of people made about the anime was that Ash's Surfetched actually had like more dark moves than it did fighting moves for the longest time.
I think Orbeetle could pass as well. The only thing is like its
Ability.
whole line is based on psychic.
Yeah.
You know, like being smart basically, but the dark
needs
type
to be the
worked
bug
for
type.
being a villain. You know. Yeah.
Dreadnought is kind of interesting because Dreadnought's its signature attack is a dark type. So I wonder if there's something there with it being kind of like an alligator where it like would hide in the
Yeah,
water or latch onto
think
you
they
and not
just-
let go.
Yeah, it's like they added it as a third type almost because you can't really get rid of water or rock, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sandaconda
You
is
could have
weird.
gotten rid of Rock, but they did it. Barrascuda looks like a villain, like it's got the cartoon mustache and everything.
I could see that.
Man,
Berserker, arguably,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
very
The Vikings were
ruthless
not
Vikings.
exactly
Oh,
nice.
Especially in this
kinda nice.
context because it's like England and they were like
Yeah.
pillaging
Yeah.
England. Makes a lot of sense.
Oh, we never got Reggie Dark.
No, we
Rip.
didn't.
Just maybe think of that.
Dragon's kind of better, so
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, interesting. There's really not too many. I think.
final stretch.
Here's the thing. I don't even think I
Rockabilly
like the
for
dark type
pretending
that
to be
much.
Chatot when it isn't.
That's a good one. Actually, perfect.
Scovillain would be interesting if grass and fire type wasn't so perfect.
Yeah,
If it had a third type, it would be dark.
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Imagine like we eventually get some sort of. I feel like eventually they got to introduce like a new permanent gimmick, like ability, or like when they did the special physical split. Like, would they ever introduce 3 types? That's crazy.
I like how a lot of Pokemon have abilities that essentially give them a stab bonus with a third type.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's so true.
they need to do that to more Pokemon. I feel like
That'd be-
I love that they've done it. I mean, but what they've done it with Delmise and Bombardier. I can't think of anything else.
I think that Houndstone and
Houndstone could be
Greedbart,
interesting.
they could get it.
I do feel like Ghost type is like too. Like when I think of a Ghost type Pokemon, I'm thinking of something that's like kind of shapeless, and Greavard and Houndstone have so. They're just so clearly they were mammals at some point. That's what it looks like. It's hard for me to think of them only as a Ghost type. I would almost want them to have a
But
Dark
you have to
type
think
or
of
normal
it
type.
like possession,
ground type.
right? Like the
Yeah.
spirit has possessed the dead corpse and is
Yeah.
now reanimating it.
It's
That's
like
true.
a zombie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a zombie. Yeah.
I think the main reason they don't have is because of Mabostiff line. You know, they're
Yeah.
dark, so
The 3
Yeah, give-
dogs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is true also about
It is.
Okidogi. I think it could be.
I've heard some theories relating Golden Go to the Ruinous Treasures, and it would be kind of interesting if it did have a dark type to kind of correspond with that. I've seen it as like the greed of the king.
Or that he paid for them with those coins or something.
Yeah, that'd be kind of an interesting tie-in. But But that's really it. I guess my conclusion is, dark type is given out, and when a Pokemon has the dark type, its design is directly inspired by or reflects the inspiration of whatever it's being based on. I don't think you can just willy-nilly give out the dark type too often.
Definitely doesn't
Then-
have
then it
much
starts
to
lose-
do with
Sorry,
nighttime.
you first.
I was just saying, definitely doesn't have much to do with nighttime.
No,
Yeah.
no, unless you're
No, go
Umbreon.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, they don't want to weaken the sense of what the dark type is because it's already kind of loose and weak, especially in the early days. I don't know how long it took for the general popular opinion to be dark as literal darkness to not be
Yeah,
the mainstream idea.
I
But it
remember
definitely
when.
took generations.
Yep.
No, definitely. I remember when dark type is evil type, when that was a nuanced idea, and I felt cool for reciting it. It was probably one of your videos, truthfully. I have no idea, but yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I don't know. I really don't care too much for the dark type. After doing a little bit of a deep dive, I'm like, these aren't
He's
some
like,
of my
at the,
favorites.
at the end, I really don't even like these.
Dude, Dusty, I feel like you do this every time we go through a type. He'll be like, and in conclusion, this is the worst type Pokemon ever made.
No, that was the
Anyways,
flying type.
Be sure to like, subscribe.
I was excited for the flying type deep dive because I thought it'd be way more interesting, and it turned out to be just this is a bird.
Birds.
They're
This
birds.
is wind.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know why you had high hopes for the flying type.
I don't
Birds
know
are
either.
cool.
They are
Birds
cool.
are
yeah.
cool.
Oh, I love birds, but with our format of going, why is this a flying type?
Yeah.
Well, because it freaking flies. I mean,
I like the theory of, that it's not even a theory. Bird type was a real thing in Gen 1 that was in the code. So that's, I don't know. I think I was going into it like that. I'm like, there's some clear distinction. But most of these dark type Pokemon, it's not that complicated. They're deceitful. They're deceptive. They don't play by the rules. And I think
Verging
they're
on evil.
Yeah, verging on evil, but they're really just selfish. They're morally gray.
or
Lockstin.
they're Absol, and they did nothing
Yeah.
to deserve this.
On that note, actually, I think if third types were ever a thing, Pecharunt would absolutely have
Interesting.
dark type. It's arguably the first true chaotic evil Pokemon.
Because it's trying to possess people, right?
Yeah, and it's purposefully as over the top and twisted in its ways as it can be. I feel anyway.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
that'd be
and
really
its
cool.
whole thing, the reason it started was because it wanted to be adored. So it came
Yeah.
from a very selfish desire.
Well,
no
Lockstin,
regard
thank
for
you so much for being here. Thank you for hanging out with us today. I think people.
Yeah, it was fun.
I think
Yeah.
people know where to find you on your YouTube channel, but you can plug whatever you want to plug.
My channel.
All right, link in the description.
At
Yeah,
Lockstin.
we really
And,
appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's been good
Cool,
to hang
man.
out with you today. I think we've all been.
Yeah.
Speak for everyone.
It's an honor, bro. I
We've
honestly
been watching you for a
honor.
long
Oh
time.
yeah. This is
Invite
this
me
is
again.
one of those guests
was
we've
fun.
been saying to have on for a while now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one that's often requested in our comments.
That's true. Yeah, there's a lot of
I
people.
would say you're one of the big three. It's you, M&J TV,
I didn't know you were
and
gonna start
Birdkeeper
this.
Toby.
Who's the big three? The big three with the.
And we're sick of Toby, and I don't think we're getting MSJ TV anytime soon. So we're so glad to have you on.
It's been great. It's been great.
Yeah, dude, for sure. All right, if you're new, subscribe. We'll see you soon. Peace.
Bye.